Over a showdown of maybe the three best three-year-olds in training. Chad Brown will send out two of those three after Friday adding perhaps another Travers contender to the mix. Early voting delivered Brown a second classic win in the Preakness, showing he's not a simply need the lead type. It's been a frustrating Triple Crown season for Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen, who must be thinking what could have been. Runner-up in the Kentucky Derby and again in the Preakness, Epicenter has been on target in his training for a big second half of the season. Asmussen also brings the nation's undisputed top sprinter back to Saratoga. Jackie's Warrior looks to make history at the Spa today with a Grade 1 win in the Vanderbilt. All that and more coming up on this sensational Saturday from Saratoga Racecourse. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Great to have you with us on FS1 on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Great aerial view of this historic racetrack and a special Saturday afternoon ahead and a great crowd on hand to witness this showdown of three of the top three-year-olds we have in training. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Wolf. Thank you again for being with us. And with the Triple Crown Series now behind us, the next big target, if you have a good three-year-old, is the Run Happy Travers for that Midsummer Derby. Today's Grade 2 Jim Dandy likely going to determine who's going to be the favorite in that race coming up on August 27th, and an important race in its own right. Let's take a look at the field. Four will line up, but four very, very good ones, including maybe three of the best in the country. Two for Chad Brown, Preakness winner early voting, Derby third-place finisher Zandon, and Epicenter, again, the runner-up in both the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. With me, Paul LaDuca, champion jockey, Richard Migliori. This is a race that we've been talking about for a long time, to get three-year-olds of this quality going up against each other in the Jim Dandy. This is special.
It is special, and obviously two of them are Chad's runner and Epicenter, the sort of, I guess, the unlucky horse a little bit in the Preakness. A lot of people think that, and a horse that they thought was home in the Kentucky Derby for Steve Asmussen, his first Kentucky Derby, to get caught by an 81-1 shot, or one of the biggest upsets in history. So really looking forward to this race, Mig.
Well, it's kind of a recurring theme, right? He got picked off by a incredible long shot in Rich Strike. Well, the race that they're running today, Jim Dandy, is named for a 100-1 shot that handed Gallant Fox's only defeat as a three-year-old, the Triple Crown winner, Gallant Fox, in 1930.
Be appropriate to get a little revenge here. And then in the Preakness course for Epicenter, this is not where his trainer wanted him to be, second horse to the outside.
No, it appeared to me like he lost his footing a little bit behind, so he didn't get off as sharp as I'm sure Joel would have liked. And then you see him get squeezed there through no fault of his own. So Joel said, okay, I'm dealt a bad hand. This is how I'm going to play this hand. I'm going to go to the rail and work out a trip. And he did work out a trip, except he had a lot to do, Paul.
Yeah, and Joel gave the horse a great trip. You're right. I mean, he was up the rail most of the time, and you sort of get to the end of this race, and you can read it a lot of different ways, that Epicenter was getting towards early voting. Early voting, you could also say, is still a little green, Mig, going a little bit around the racetrack,
Yep.
and it looked like he still had more left.
Yeah, he was wandering around a little bit, got a little bit lonely in the stretch there. Epicenter certainly a lot more seasoned at this point, a lot more experience. I think he was slowly getting to him, and I'm sure the start compromised his chances. But let's give early voting his due. Fourth start to win the Preakness Stakes.
Expect those two to, well, certainly Epicenter to be a lot closer. We will see who grabs the lead. That's going to be fun to watch early in that Jim Dandy. Time for our Spendthrift two-year-old race of the day. Right off the bat here in the opener on the card, Spendthrift Farm, of course, home of North America's three-time reigning champion General Sire, Into Mischief. Post time is coming up. We'll kick off the Pick 5 here as well. Let's welcome in Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll take a look at three of the first-time starters in here, though I do think that the one with experience coming in from Parks, Tatum, could be dangerous here given the fact that he has early speed. But taking a look at Steve Asmussen, who is looking to kick off a big day, as you guys were saying, with Epicenter, as well as multiple Grade 1 winner Jackie's Warrior coming up in the Vanderbilt, he'll send out Swiss Guard. And while I like this horse as a physical, you know, he's strong, he's well-muscled, he's been the utmost professional, I mean, really professional, laser focused throughout. The thing I don't like about him is his work. 2 back, he was on the inside of a horse by the name Echo Again. And maybe Echo Again is the next coming of Secretariat, but this guy, Swiss Guard, did not break as well as him. He was off the bridle the entire time, and he was just struggling in the wake of Echo Again. Now, I don't necessarily love his pedigree. It's more of a kind of it has dirt pedigree in it, but it's also a little bit turf. I don't know. I just felt as though I needed to take the wait and see approach, and that work 2 back just left a bad taste in my mouth. His number 4 team leader, who the whole team's going on him. Hopefully he can support us along with Tyler Gaffleone. I loved everything about this horse. He looks like he could be quick. He's Fool 2, Commandeer, who's good going longer. And there's a little more turf in the pedigree, but he looks like a dirt sprinter. He's really fit in here for trainer Brendan Walsh. I love the warm-up that Tyler Gaffleone gave this horse. I think as he's drawn right outside the likeliest speed in here, and the 2 could be quick too, maybe, I think he sits the right kind of trip and just a smart-looking colt to begin his career for Godolphin. Now, number 5, Capture the Flag. He is taking a lot of the early money, but this horse is bred all over the place for the turf, and he looks like a turf horse. And while he's a big, imposing horse that looks more like a 4-year-old rather than a 2-year-old, he looks, A, like he at least wants more ground, and B, he looks like he wants the turf, but sometimes with a Hall of Fame trainer like Shug McGahee, it can be counterintuitive, and they know what the horses want to run on, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Set for our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day and the 4-team leader. First-time starter for Brendan Walsh, the favorite, but that is a look at a Shug McGahee first-time starter. Big pedigree for the turf, but a strong, steady series of works.
Going back to May 10th, 12 workouts with no interruptions.
Set for our opener on Jim Dandy Day from Saratoga. Let's go to John Imbrial.
For the Saturday opener. And they're off. Swiss Guard and Tatum going out for the early lead. And now moving up on the outside is a team leader. But it is Swiss Guard who has the lead. Team leader has moved into second. Tatum now back running in third. Capture the Flag was off a step slow, has advanced on the outside. And the trailer is Space in fifth. Swiss Guard by a head. Team leaders in between horses, and Capture the Flag on the outside. In the opening quarter went in 22 and 3/5 seconds is a 3-way battle up front. There goes Capture the Flag on the outside. Team leader is in between. Swiss Guard is down at the rail with Tatum in behind running in fourth, and Space is at the back, and now they're at the top of the stretch. It is Swiss Guard who continues to battle on down at the rail, and Capture the Flag on the outside. Capture the Flag is now taken over and is drawn clear here. It's Capture the Flag in front. Tatum is putting in a late run down on the inside, but Capture the Flag is in front as they come on for the finish, and it will be first-time starter Capture the Flag to get things rolling on Jim Dandy Day at Saratoga.
Capture the Flag, first time out for Shug McGahee, Allen's stable. The Magniers with Luis Saez, impressive in the debut.
Very impressive. Didn't break particularly well. For a big horse, was able to catch his stride and catch up quickly. And you saw that Luis Saez, Paul, was on cruise control coming off the turn.
This is scary. Number one, the horse has got a monster pedigree, quality road on the top side, war front on the bottom. You heard Maggie say this horse has got a ton of turf pedigree. Jogged in 106, I get it. That's actually not bad. This racetrack has been playing very, very slow, but Shug doesn't have his horses cranked up at all, and this horse did this on all ability.
Mildest diverging. Look at his ears. His inside ear is going to start flicking back and forth. Like, where is everybody? You see that inside ear? This horse was very impressive for the size of him to win going 5.5. Wow.
And the longer would seem, the better for him going forward. No?
Well, 100%. I mean, he's just got a classic horse with Warfront on the bottom side. And you're right, you know, Mig mentioned it, he's got such a big stride, and you can see how long and leggy he is. It would be like basically a 6'4" horse just beat a bunch of 5', 8' horses, basically.
Yeah, this was really impressive. And this is what Saratoga's perennially been so great about, the unveiling of these 2-year-olds that we may be seeing in races like the Jim Dandy next year.
Can you get me down in Derby Futures, please?
Just the ease that he did it in. And like I said, You know, Hall of Fame trainer Shug McGahee, he is an old school guy. He races his horse into shape. But when you look at his first start, he's still really good. He's 14%. So when he has a good one, he cranks him up. And I got to give you credit, Mick. You said 12 works in a row, he had this horse ready.
When I was looking at it this morning, how often do you see a two-year-old with this kind of work tab come in so you knew that he had him prepared to run big first time?
Early on was the favorite, winds up going off second choice in this race at 5-2, 5-3, 1-4, capture the flag. Very impressive debut for the son of Quality Road. As we take a look at what still remains this afternoon, presented by Claiborne Farm. Race 2 will kick off the early pick 4. Late pick 5 begins in the 7th on the card. And Paulie, I know you're all over. We've got a mandatory payout pick 5 beginning in race 4 as well.
No, I don't know about that.
Races 8 and 9, by the way, you will see on Big Fox, that grade 1 Vanderbilt with Jackie's Warrior.
Race
and
number
Travers
4.
Prep, the Jim Dandy.
Race number 4 is a fun race on the turf. It really is. That's going to be a challenging race to handicap.
Join NYRA Bets today, and you can play the action on our program and more with a free $25. Sign up with the promo code SPOT25. You'll get that $25 free play in your account. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime at NYRABets.com or on the NYRA Bets app. We're going to take a timeout. Fun start to Jim Dandy Saturday afternoon here at Saratoga. Epicenter, second in the Kentucky Derby in Preakness, getting another shot at the horse who beat him in the Preakness. He'll take on Zandon as well, and early voting for Chad Brown. We'll be back.
Eclipse champion Run Happy, the #1 second crop dirt sire of last year, is back and showing a new dimension with winners on turf, dirt, and all weather. A record-breaking sprint champion, Run Happy is also siring winners at all distances, from 7 furlongs to 1.25 miles. A sire whose runners can carry his speed over all distances and all surfaces. Run Happy, price for value, and standing strong at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We're back on Saratoga Live on FS1 on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in upstate New York. Our program brought to you where you can play all the racing we bring you and beyond. Go to NYRABets.com, download that NYRA Bets app, And bet any track, anywhere, anytime. This is a 2-year-old you may hear a lot more about down the line. Impressive debut for Hall of Famer Shug McGahee in the Allen stable. Capture the flag. Louis Saez aboard. Let's go back to Maggie.
So pleased to be joined in the winner's circle by Hall of Famer Shug McGahee. And Shug, this horse is something else. As you were just telling me, he knocked your socks off even as a yearling.
When I saw him in September during the September sale at Keeneland, he wasn't in the sale. We went out to the farm and I saw him, and they brought him out, and I said, this is going to keep me around for a while. And he's done everything right. He was down with Nile all winter, and then when we got him back up here at Belmont and here, he's done everything. He was perfect today, and you know, he broke a tough tad slow, but Luis got him right in the game, then waited on him to teach him a little bit, and he finished up good. And that's what I sort of told him in the paddock. I said, he'll break fine, but he ain't going to break 2 in front. But I said, I think he'll gather them up.
Now, as you said, as we were both discussing his pedigree as Dam 1 going 1.5 miles on the turf, but you told me a good anecdote that Woody Stevens told you as well, but I think he's a horse that has a bright and versatile future.
I think so, you know. I mean, always wanted to run him on the dirt, even though, you know, his mother was all turf, but I think he does, and the farther we go, probably the better he'd be. You know, I'm a Quality Road fan. This is War Flag's second foal. She's got a tapper that wants to run along on the grass, so, you know, how do you know? But I'm very pleased with the way he ran today, and if it comes on, you know, maybe we'll have a little future as a 2-year-old.
A little hopeful?
Well, that's something we sure got to think about, you know. I mean, its timing's pretty good, and, you know, if he comes out of this good and trains like he needs to, you know, I'd say we'd probably give it a chance.
Sure, congratulations. You have a very nice colt on your hands.
Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate it.
And capture the flag. We don't often see Shug win with debuters this early on in the 2-year-old season, but this horse could be the real deal, Greg.
Indeed he could. You heard Maggie ask, hopeful. That, of course, the Grade 1 hopeful, big prize for 2-year-olds on the closing day of the meet on Labor Day in September, and I got to think they're taking a big look at that now.
You know, Shug doesn't win with first-timers, not because he's not capable of it. He just doesn't put that kind of pressure on them. This horse won because he's good, and he'll build off of this race. That would put him squarely as a major contender in the hopeful going 6.5 furlongs or 7 furlongs, right? 7 furlongs.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that he saw this colt a year ago and said, this one's going to keep me around for a while. That's big words from a guy like Shug. He's not that type of guy. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. He's had so many great horses. He won the Derby with a horse called Orb. So for him to have a 2-year-old, which is not really his game, to be this progressive, wow, that was impressive.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Turned a lot of heads. Beautiful aerial shots we're getting of the town and the racetrack here in Saratoga Springs. We're going to get it into the pick 4 coming up next. We'll be on the turf at 1 1/16 in this maiden special weight. So everybody looking for that first win on the resume. We have 2-year-olds in here as well. And whenever Chad Brown shows up at a turf race with a first-time starter, going to take a lot of attention on the board. He's got C'est Magnifique out of a dam that he trained. It was Grade 3 place, Frittata.
Yeah, and listen, Chad's just so good at preparing his horses, and one of the reasons for that, Paul, is he gets to work these horses with each other and kind of sort out where they're at, who's prepared, who's ready, who's a little more precocious. Brigades of workers.
Play against your friends and fellow fans with the Showdown contest. It is free to enter. You're competing for real prizes, and you'll get to see, if you're in that top 10, your name on that leaderboard at the end of the program. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. Put in your selections, and we hope to see you in that top 10 at the end of the program. Our ABR race of the week, the Grade 2 Jim Dandy final stop before the Run Happy Travers, and you would think this is the race who is going to determine who's the favorite on Travers Day.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, because Cyberknife winning the Haskell is not going to scare a lot of people against these 3 or 4 horses, because I'm not going to throw out Tawny Port in a 4-horse race.
2 turns, 1 1/8, and Epicenter. Steve Asmussen early in the stretch in that Kentucky Derby. Looked like he was finally going to get that big one that has been eluding him, and then all of a sudden the second biggest upset in the history of the race.
What can you say about this horse, really, though? I mean, one bad start to begin his career. Since then, he's been first or second in every one of his races. He's danced every dance besides the Belmont. I would think he's going to be ultra ready, Mig.
Tawny Port for Brad Cox. They used that Lexington to see if this was truly a dirt horse. He passed that test. He didn't run all that bad in the Derby, and he comes in off another Grade 3 win.
Well, it's just interesting that he's the longest shot in the field at 8-1, and he's coming off winning the Ohio Derby. He is no slouch. He's got a nice resume himself.
Beating Wadabario in there was pretty highly regarded going into the Kentucky Derby. Early voting showed new tactics in that Preakness victory for Chad Brown.
Just dangerous, dangerous speed. And speed just can put you wherever you want to land in a race. So early voting is going to have no issues unless something happens without the gate in the gate of getting position in this race and getting the race in his favor.
Chad Brown's other star, 3-year-old. A lot of people thought this was the horse going into the Kentucky Derby, and he certainly loomed large in the stretch. Looked like he was going to go right on by Epicenter. In the end, he wound up third.
Worked out a beautiful trip that day. Got to Epicenter. Epicenter was not letting him by, and then he got picked up by Rich Strike. This is a very good horse, too, as well, this son of Upstart.
By the way, real quick, Tawny Port's the only one that's beat the Kentucky Derby champ.
Good point.
Right?
And he's
crazy.
8-1. He
It's
will
crazy,
be the
right?
biggest price in this race. It's in a 4-horse field. How do you get lost? But no one is talking about Tawny Port. That's how good these other 3-year-olds are.
Yeah.
You're going to see live coverage of the Grade 2 Jim Dandy later today. Big Fox, 4:30 Eastern start time. So look forward to that. Jackie's Warrior, of course, in that Grade 1 Vanderbilt as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a special horse with Jackie's Warrior, and maybe he'll get tested today. We'll see, but he's special to watch.
Well, you know, we've already been treated to a 2-year-old that being unveiled in the opener that could be, a real major player going forward in this division. And then you get a champion like Jackie's Warrior and the Jim Dandy. This is a wonderful race card.
Going to get to race 2 when we come back on the turf in a race to kick off the Pick 4 with 2-year-olds many making their debut, including that Chad Brown first-time starter. We'll have Flavian Pratt aboard. C'est magnifique. We will be back with more on Saratoga Live in just a moment on our FS1 coverage from Saratoga.
Every breeder hopes to leave a lasting genetic legacy. It's one of the few true paths to immortality. The importance, permanence, and legacy of Alapa is best understood by the influence of Prince Palatine. To put Prince Palatine's significance and that of the farm into a proper perspective, every stallion at Alapa traces their parentage back to Prince Palatine. Hill and Dale at Alapa, where the obscure becomes obvious.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Spun to run. In the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, he defeated a loaded field that included multiple Grade 1 winners Omaha Beach and Improbable. His brilliant speed figures were among the fastest of any 3-year-old at a mile or more. And he hails from the legendary Danzig sire line. Multiple graded stakes winner, millionaire, Breeders' Cup champion, Spun to Run, standing at Gainesway.
This August, Monmouth Park has the perfect cure for a case of the Mondays. With live racing every Monday starting at 2 p.m., extend your summer weekends and wager on action-packed racing from the Jersey Shore. Plus, play the new 50-cent Monday Mid-Atlantic Pick 4, pairing 2 races from Monmouth and Colonial into Monday's featured bet. It's Monday racing all August long at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
We are back. Special Saturday here at the racetrack at Saratoga, not just because of the big action we have on track. It is also Saratoga uniting with racetracks across the country to support the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. This year, PDJF Day selected to coincide with this week's National Disability Independence Day, marking the 32nd anniversary of the passage of that landmark Americans with Disabilities Act. And autograph signing session from some of the top jockeys here in the colony. And Mig, I know it's such an important part of this sport to support our riders when they're injured.
Absolutely, and I'm always proud of our riding colony and riders all across the nation that step up to help their colleagues that have been injured and their lives were changed in an instant. Brave young men and women that had no idea that their life was going to change walking out of the jocks room. And it really supports these people that basically helps them pay their mortgages, Paul.
Yeah.
And I like that everybody pulls together to help support this effort.
No, and I love that that's the family atmosphere that we have in the horse racing industry. Jockeys come out, they sign autographs, and it's for a great cause. I have my band on. If you can grab a band anywhere around the racetrack, if you're at the racetrack, you can go to pdjf.com. .org, excuse me, for more information. It's just a tremendous thing that you should really take a look at.
All right, time for a paddock report here for the second. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Greg, this is a fun race for the 2-year-olds going the mile and a 16th on the turf course. And we'll begin with horses that don't have any experience. And we'll begin on the rail with number 1, America's Guest. And watching his work on XBTV 3 back on July 7th, he was on the inside of stakes winner Dakota Gold, whom, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing with a tough trip, though, in the Rick Violet Stakes opening week here. But this guy, it's not often easy to be the 2-year-old on the inside of an older, accomplished rival. Held his own incredibly well. Now, that work was on the dirt, and there isn't an abundance of turf pedigree, not a glaring turf pedigree. It's kind of a versatile pedigree, to be fair. But Danny opts to run him, Danny Gargan, his trainer, run him on the turf first time out. And I'm okay with that, looking at him physically. He is wearing a lot of headgear, though he has been working in those short cup cheater blinkers that he wears here today. Really professional, really well muscled, nicely developed throughout. I think this horse is okay, to be honest, as we'll move on to number 4, American Hustle, a son of American Pharaoh. Again, not much to report home on with regards to pedigree, but physically really well suited to conditions. And 2, watching his workout with another unraced mate just struck me as one that wants to run long. Very even type of tempo to his stride. And that's what he looks like here. He's a bit of a longer tubular type of frame, but incredibly toned. I mean, this horse of the first-time starters is the most fit looking here, as he is donning those silks of celebrity chef Bobby Flay. Number 6, Yes Magnifique, a son of Kitten's Joy, out of the mare Bratata. Now this one working with lead activist investing. There we go, Maggie. 2 back, and I thought going okay against that rival who was favored in that no contest race, finishing a narrow second. Going okay. I will admit, this is not the most fit-looking Chad Brown first-time starter, but it's one you have to respect. He's done everything right as far as his disposition and the way he's behaved here in the paddock. But again, I thought there were maybe some more interesting options, and I actually like Todd Pletcher's horse and Montepulciano for a son of Not This Time who fires with his 2-year-olds. I mean, they come over here ready. And he looks just that. He's been bouncing on his toes throughout, indicating that he ought to have some early speed. Fine with getting on the turf here. Not This Time is a sneaky good turf sire as well, being the fact that he has a lot of turf pedigree himself. And I like the work from this one. 2 back, really big, powerful stride, galloped out well. Look for him to be forwardly placed here with Arad Ortiz as well, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Post-parade coming up. Who will rise in a field with a lot of inexperienced runners and those who have run going long for the first time. That pick 4 pool that begins here, up and over $200,000 and growing as they come down Champions Way. And, you know, when in doubt in a race like this without a lot of form, usually you gravitate to Chad Brown with the 6, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah, and also try to let the board help you. You know, horses that are taking money are usually taking money because they've shown something in the morning. They've attracted attention.
Kick off our post break with America's Guest, first-time starter for Danny Gargan.
Like that he has a work over the turf course.
12-1 rarefied Flair Kenny McPeak.
I thought an interesting horse that you can use with a nice little pedigree on the bottom side for turf.
Determinedly, Mark Casse sends out.
Yeah, the mare's a producer. She's got 4 foals to win, including Witzel, but all won on the dirt.
Yeah, Second Dam was a graded stakes winner on the dirt as well. American Hustle, Christophe Clement.
You heard Maggie talk about Bobby Flay. I don't think I could beat Bobby Flay.
Maybe Mig couldn't have throw down.
Short rib throw down.
Ian Wilkes, Julian Leproux with Our Dream Ride. And here's the 6, same Magnifique at 3-1.
Yeah, Kitten's Joy, Colt, and sorry that we lost Kitten's Joy, but this is one of his last crops.
This horse has looked impressive in the warm-ups. Montepulciano.
I like this horse a lot. I love when I see a 7-furlong work on the turf, a stamina-building work like that.
The 8 rolling by. Deccan Prince for Mike Maker.
Gets Luis Saez with blinkers on. Luis Saez for 3 Diamond Farms. Should be coming out here soon. He was the leading rider here last year, and he's, I want to say 3rd or 4th right now behind Irad Ortiz. We're waiting on the 9 and the 10, I guess, right now, Wolfie. They're somewhere back there. Maybe they're at the Shake Shack. Oh, there they are.
Saez actually collected his 14th win. He's second in the standings right now.
Okay.
And the final 2 coming onto the track. We're going to see a 32-1 shot. Good rapport. First-time starter for Rudy Rodriguez. Here's the 10, though. Son of a Birch, Tom Morley.
I think this horse got a big look in here. This horse had a really, really bad trip. Stumbled very badly out of the gate. And I thought ran on courageously. Now, Javier Castellano and Tom Morley, they closed out the card yesterday with a 7-1 shot.
Yeah, then there's the 9. Good rapport with the apprentice, Jose Gomez.
Yeah, a horse that doesn't have much turf pedigree to go on. And it's not attracting any attention, and we'd like to see some support on the board. Maybe it just, kind of tells you that the horse worked well in the morning at least.
So here's a look at the 4. This is American Hustle, Christophe Clement, who had a very impressive New York-bred first-time starter on the dirt yesterday. This horse will have Dylan Davis aboard. 4, Celebrity Chef Bobby Flay.
Yeah, Bobby's been in the game for a while now. For a lot of people out there that don't know, he's been doing it for a while. And he used to, when he first started MIG, he always wanted fillies because he was going for more of the breeding and this and that. Sure. Lately, he's been buying some colts now, and this one's been working okay in the morning. What do you know about this horse? I know Dylan's aboard.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the fact that this horse was in Saratoga all spring, has 3 turf workouts. Miguel Clement does such a good job as his dad's assistant, Christophe's assistant. And these horses have consistently performed well that have been up here prepping in the springtime.
Dam. Only win for her came sprinting on synthetic, and this is the first foal for her, speaking of the 4 American Hustle. But here's our favorite, but not an overwhelming favorite from this barn. A little cool on this first-time starter for trainer Chad Brown. It tells you it's a wide-open race.
It is a wide-open race. I like the way the horse is acting, really acting very classy. You kind of just started acting up right there when I said that, didn't he?
But son of Kitten's Joy, by the way, who passed away July 15th.
A prolific turf sire out of a mare that stakes placed on the turf. This is her first foal, and from a top barn. This is the horse I like, Montepulciano. I loved when you see a work like that, 7 furlongs in 130. That's a stamina-building work for a Hall of Fame conditioner, and I think this horse is well meant for trainer Todd Pletcher, owner Barry Schwartz.
Take a look at our jockey standings presented by WinStar. It's still Irad Ortiz Jr. leading the way at the meet with 18 victories. We just saw Luis Saez collect number 14 to keep the heat on. And Joel Rosario, that terrific opening week with 7 wins when he was named the National Rider of the Week.
And Javier Castellano just reminding everybody, hey, I won 4 Eclipse Championships before. Don't forget about me. You know, I think last year Javier won 4 or 5 races at the whole meet. He is riding tremendous, back to his old form. I call him Justin Verlander. He's getting better with fine wine. He's been riding unbelievable the last month and a half or so.
He's been riding extremely well.
He's been one of the good stories early on in this meeting. Let's go back to Maggie.
We'll take a look at a few horses who have experience, though number 5, who's a big price on the board of the horses coming from Churchill, he does have the most pedigree to switch surfaces, and that is number 5, Our Dream Ride. Now, I wish we would have seen his stablemate, whom he worked with last time in the first race, Bourbon Resolve, but unfortunately a scratch. Now, Bourbon Resolve worked much better than he, going back to July 23rd, or excuse me, July 17th, and Our Dream Ride did what normal turf horses do. He came off the bridle when he was started being asked on the dirt. But this horse is a big, strong son of More Than Ready, looking a lot, very typical of his sire line. Looks like he should handle the turf, ran on the dirt first time like he wanted more distance. I think this is a bit interesting as one of the longest shots on the board. Now, 2 horses that come out of a common race back at Belmont include number 8, Deccan Prince, and a Son of Kingman that, again, I mentioned this when he debuted, they only paid $50,000 for. So sometimes you take that as a negative. It's when they, the sires stand for $5,000 and then they sell for $250,000 that you really pay attention, so as a positive, but this can sometimes be interpreted as a negative. Now, he was ridden very hard for that 3rd place effort throughout the entire running of that race, in which we saw Oxymore just blow away that field, so kind of somewhat take that margin of defeat with a grain of salt. But I will say this horse has come out of that race so much stronger than what he looked going into it for Mike Maker, as he has just a very short cup cheater blinker for his efforts today. Now, obviously, a horse I'm very familiar with is number 10, Son of a Birch, one of the cheapest horses in this field that my husband bought last year as a yearling. I said first time out, I talked about him because the name is funny as well, but that he'd want more ground and that he need experience, and he gets to do it today, and he's stronger. He warmed up better. Javier took him away from the pony. He wants to be a little bit cheeky with the pony still. Birchie, mind your manners. But he really bowed himself up well into the bridle today, and at least he gets to do what we've always thought he wanted to do. He looks strong. He's dappled head to toe. I'm forever hopeful, but I do think your favorite 7 in here, Montepulciano, is the one to beat, Greg.
And the public agrees. He just looks sensational again leading up to the start. Obviously, word is out. You would think that he can run a little bit, taking all this money.
Yeah, and again, I love when I see stamina building works, Paul. That they've shown that they're well prepped, kind of like the horse in the first race with all those multiple works. I know you like the 10 a little bit, who was green and had a bit of a trip first time.
Yeah, he didn't have to have a good trip. Broke to his nose. I think he's going to be a lot quicker out of the gate. Tom Morley's in very good condition, and when him and Javier team up, they are very dangerous horses taking money. I understand, listen, it's Irad and it's Todd Pletcher, and the horse looked tremendous on the racetrack. The 6 is also, you're getting Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt at 4-1.
There is Javier Castellano. This is kind of comeback rider of the meet to this point. 11 wins, had a 3-win day, and this is a pretty good rider. Not that long ago, he won 4 consecutive Eclipse Awards as outstanding jockey.
I still think one of the best rides here at Saratoga history was Keen Ice, and he was on Keen Ice when Keen Ice beat American Pharoah. Our
Triple Crown champion.
Yeah, he had that horse in such a perfect position. I get it, he got an assist from Frosted, but Javier had Keen Ice in the right place.
Well, Javier's won 6 Travers stakes. I mean, that's an incredible record. Riders go through things, just like any athlete. I'm sure baseball players, you've seen it. I'm sure you've gone through it. Injuries, different things, you're just off form. Well, he came back from injury, took him a little while to find his rhythm, his timing again. It's all back.
It's a little different as we were waiting a little bit for this race. You know, if I get hurt, I still got the team. These guys get hurt, and they're out for like a year, Greg. They got to get their team back. The team sort of leaves them. Jockeys got to find their own mounts. If I get hurt with the Mets, I still got a contract. I can come back and still play. It's different because they're independent contractors.
We're set for race 2, mile and 16th on the inner turf. Let's go to John Imbrial for the call.
They're all in line. And they're off. It is Rarefied Flair who's out for the early lead. Quickly passed there by Montepulciano and Deccan Prince, and Son of a Birch is racing in third. Rarefied Flair is now back in fourth, followed by American Hustle in fifth. Determinedly is in sixth. And then from the outside, it is C'est Magnifique running in seventh. America's Guest next in eighth. At the back are Good Rapport and Our Dream Ride. They round the clubhouse turn and head for the backstretch. And Montepulciano steps away here to lead by 2.5 lengths. Deccan Prince is in second. And Son of a Birch is next in third through a quarter in 23 and 3/5 seconds. It is Montepulciano who leads here 3/4 of a length. Deccan Prince is in between horses. Son of a Birch is on the outside in third. And then it's a gap almost 4 lengths back to Rarefied Flair, who's on the inside of American Hustle. And then we come back to Determinedly, who's racing in sixth. C'est Magnifique is next in seventh. Farther back, it is America's Guest, followed by Our Dream Ride. And the trailer is Good Rapport, the half in 48 and 1. Montepulciano challenged here by Deccan Prince, and on the outside, Son of a Birch. It's 3 of them across. Rarefied Flair is in behind horses, and down towards the rail is Determinedly, and here is C'est Magnifique, who rallies on the outside. C'est Magnifique now takes the lead, and Our Dream Ride is in with a chance. Our Dream Ride and C'est Magnifique. Our Dream Ride takes over the lead. We're looking at an upset here. It's Our Dream Ride at 21-1. Determinedly comes on to get second. Rarefied Flair was up for third. C'est Magnifique faded to fourth.
Our Dream Ride, Ian Wilkes, Julian Leperoux, Bourbon Lane Stable, getting by this Chad Brown, first-time starter.
The way the race played out, it really set up for horses to close. Montepulciano was a bit keen on the lead.
Yeah.
The 10-horse Son of a Birch got keen. It was a bit of a contested pace for young horses going this far. It looked like C'est Magnifique was making the winning move, but followed by Our Dream Ride. And then he had to hold off the 3, who's, you know, like a broken field runner determinedly, but the son of More Than Ready gets it done in his second start.
Yeah, good call by Maggie. She said that this horse could take to the turf. I'll tell you what, Julian gave the horse a perfect ride. The 3 was loaded. You can see Julian on the rail trying to get through with the Gray Roan, and he's got nowhere to go. Sorry, Joel, as Julian already has a jump, and the 3 exploded late. As somebody you'd want to pay attention next time that he runs the Gray Horse, but give Julian some credit. He's came here, and a lot of people were wondering, why are you coming here to ride? He's like, listen, I got some live horses for Ian Wilkes, who brought up some horses. And you know what? It seems like every time you go in a long turf race, Julian Leperoux is in the photo, Greg. He's been riding well.
Good for him. 21-1 shot. These are the kind of races you can get prices like that in the end. This Chad Brown runner went off at 9-2. If they're going to run big, you usually see a lot more money on those runners.
But it was kind of weird, right? The horse loomed up and took the lead. You're like, okay, this Chad's going to take off. And then when the horse hit the front, maybe kind of hit the brakes, waiting for everybody else to come along.
Yeah, I think he lost a little bit of focus, but I also think that this was much more of a contested kind of pace. And even though I think it was a well-timed run, it was the horses making the final runs that were the most successful.
21-1. Big surprise here to kick off this early pick 4. Flavien Prat, Julian Leperoux having a little discussion there.
Yeah, French connection.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, again, we're going to take one more look. Pay attention to the Gray Roan on the rail with Joel Rosario, and then you'll see the 5. With the Jordan White, look at this poor horse. This has just got nowhere to go. And Joel's so good at usually finding that spot, and that's just the one time he just got stopped, Mig.
But, you know, it's interesting. Even though he had to kind of go on pause, he never really checked. Like, he was still real finesseful about it. I mean, it stopped his momentum, and the other horse got first run.
Yeah.
But he did it kind of as cool as Joel normally is.
Yeah, right?
5-3, 2-6. 21-1 over 6-1, over 12-1. How about that trifecta? We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Jackie's Warrior, Grade 1 winner at Saratoga as a 2-year-old, as a 3-year-old, trying to become a Grade 1 winner as a 4-year-old in the Vanderbilt later today.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes and added a Grade 1 with turf credentials in the Maker's Mark Mile. From ages 2 to 4, this versatile son of Warfront proved his class at the highest levels. Now his first foals have arrived. War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
New for Saratoga, the $3 triple play pick 3. Choose the winners of 3 selected races on the Saratoga card each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the meet to win big. Go to NYRA.com/triple play for more details. We're back on Saratoga Live on FS1. Good to have you with us on Jim Dandy Saturday here at the premier meet in the country. Our Dream Ride. Start number 2, getting on the lawn for the first time in a stretch out in distance. Wins it 21-1. Let's go to Maggie in the winner's circle.
Here with trainer Ian Wilkes, sending out Our Dream Ride. And Ian, I'm sure you're a guy who likes to develop your horses a bit, and getting him in that race on the dirt, despite having an abundance of turf pedigree, gave him the experience he needs to fire today.
Yeah, it did, you know. Probably one reason there was no turf at Churchill.
That's also true, duh.
Yeah, but no, it was a good race on the dirt, you know. It was better than what it looked on paper because the winner come out and won the Sanford here. And I'm very happy the way he trained coming into the race.
And he's one that, yes, the fast pace in this race was, you know, complemented his running style, but he put some separation between him and the rest of the field.
Yeah, that's it. He did. I love the turn of foot today. You know, that was exciting to see because you've got to have a turn of foot to win any good race on the turf. And I asked Julian, like, late in the race, you know, was he get tired but he felt he was waiting on the other horses a little when he got to the lead. So that was real encouraging.
Now, too, you mentioned Julien Leperoux. He's back after a couple years, a guy that you have teamed up with a lot of success. Talk about him coming here and using him and being loyal to Julien.
Well, that's it. I love to develop horses, and I like to stay in a rhythm with my jockeys to know where I'm at with my horses. So to be able to use Julien on this horse, it really helped, you know, because he's a very good turf rider. He rides good on the dirt, too, but, you know, I just think he's an exceptional rider.
Well, congratulations. Big upset here with Our Dream Ride.
Thank you.
And Our Dream Ride, he was a dream ride for Julien Leperoux, getting to the winner's circle yet again, as you guys were saying, with limited opportunities.
Yeah, well done, Julien. Represented by our good friend Frank Lyons.
Yes, yes, congratulations. It would have been fun to see the horse in the first race for Ian, run to the 6, Bourbon Resolve. Hopefully everything's okay, because reportedly that horse had been working unbelievable. But congratulations to Julian and Ian. More than ready, Colt. They paid $210,000 dividends already.
Big weekend ahead, as we talked about at the top of the show. Top sprinter in the country, Jackie's Warrior. We'll see in that Vanderbilt, and the Preakness champ early voting. The runner-up from both the Derby and the Preakness, Epicenter. Third place finisher from the Kentucky Derby, Zandon, his first start back since that run for the Roses. In the Vanderbilt, history on the line. A horse who loves it at Saratoga. He loves it just about everywhere he goes. Jackie's Warrior. He's just too fast, too good for just about everyone who comes into his path. And a Grade 1 win today. He becomes the first ever in the history of this historic racetrack to win Grade 1s in 3 separate years.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. All the history over the years and the great horses that have competed here, for him to do that, he just does things so easily. He's not built like your typical sprinter. He's bigger, scopier, ranger, but he's so efficient in his stride, Paul.
Yeah, it's poetry in motion. It's beautiful to watch when a horse like this is just cantering around the racetrack and running 107 buyers. I mean, 115 flat, and he's reaching out with his neck, telling his rider, do you want me to do more? If it wasn't for one race where he went to his head, he would never have lost around one turn in his life, except the Breeders' Cup, where he threw in a kind of a clunker. But, you know, a guy like myself that's been out in Del Mar is kind of like Saratoga. You either love it or you like it as a horse. So I think he just didn't like Saratoga that day. He took a ton of heat. Del Mar, and I just think he loves it here. So when
with that, though, look,
Yes.
there's, even as good as he is, there's unfinished business for him
100%
at the end of the year.
Because I think a lot of people are like, okay, who's he faced? And it's nothing against him, but like, okay, he keeps crushing horses, so nobody really wants to challenge him.
A horse can only beat what he's running against.
Yeah, true.
He is a true warrior. Look at it go 5 for 5 at Saratoga in that Grade 1 Vanderbilt, and he's probably going to be 1-9 in that race. Then up next, race 9. It's our ABR race of the week. Grade 2 Jim Dandy. Final stop before the Run Happy Travers. And this loaded lineup of 4 of the best 3-year-olds, certainly 3 of maybe the top 3 or 4 in the country right now, at least to what they've done to this point. Early voting. How's he looked leading up to this race for you, Mig?
He's training exactly the same way he trained up to the Preakness. You could see they were experimenting a little bit for a horse that had been kind of a freewheeling front runner up until the Preakness. Asking him to sit outside a horse, asking him to wait to be asked, not to just run as fast as he wants too early. And you could just see how amenable he is to it. He's waiting on Jose Ortiz, who's aboard for the workout here. Okay, boss, what do you want me to do?
Tell everybody about, they got the walkie-talkies on the back, so they're basically knowing how fast they're going around the racetrack, right, Mig?
Yeah, now, listen, I'm not a fan of putting walkie-talkies on jockeys in the morning, and I'll explain. The reason they do that is to kind of let them know, all right, you went the first, 8th, and 13, the second, 8th, and 12, and 2. But when you micromanage to that level, riders don't have walkie-talkies in the afternoon. You're dulling their, internal clock that tells them how fast or slow they're going. Not only do you have to develop that clock, you have to keep it tuned. Yeah. And if someone's telling you the times, you're not keeping it tuned.
Meanwhile, with more on his stablemate who was 3rd in the run for the Roses, let's go to Maggie.
That would be Zandon. And Zandon, after a bit of a respite after the Kentucky Derby, which was by design by trainer Chad Brown to let him develop more. And Chad saying he was happy with the trip that he got in the Kentucky Derby, but just felt that he got to hanging a bit when going the 1.25 miles. So he's allowed him to have a few months of rest. He said he's filled out, and we see him working this past Saturday, the 5 furlongs in 101 and 4/5. This was after he had worked 48 and change the week before, kind of that real sharp work after this maintenance breeze here. And we see his regular exercise rider up for this drill. And when he gets to the line, he's going to put his hands down and he's going to gallop out nicely. And this horse is one that typically works by himself. He's such a big striding horse where I'm sure he probably get a little headstrong if he went in company. So Chad doing right by his charge in Zandon, and he's going to be hoping they do heat up a little bit on the front end and make that one run. I've always liked this horse, Greg. I think that break he's gotten to develop a bit more is going to suit him for this Jim Dandy.
Thank you, Maggie. And it could potentially set up beautifully for him. We know Epicenter wants to be a lot closer. If Epicenter and early voting battling early on in this race, look who's going to be sitting right behind him, making a late run.
Well, if early voting goes to the lead, Epicenter is going to engage him at some stage of the race. It just depends on how early. But at some point, those two are going to really heat up, and maybe it does benefit Zandon.
Wow, it's going to be very interesting how this first quarter of a mile plays out, because I think Epicenter gets the worst of the draws. I'll be honest with you. You don't want to be inside. You got the speed on the outside in early voting. And Zandon, if you go back and look, is a horse that did break, you know, his maiden going short was right up on the pace of going 22 and 46. Now, he was way back in the Derby, but a lot of people were way back in the Derby. He's a horse that he's going to be dangerous today. I just have a feeling. Overnight, I changed my pick to him because I think he gets the perfect draw just to see, okay, what are you going to do, Epicenter? What are you going to do early voting? And I can just sit here and wait.
Mig, the way this lines up, a mile and an eighth here, that first turn comes up pretty quick. If you're Epicenter on the inside, does that mean you have to kind of force things a little more early?
Well, I'm going to come out forward. At least if early voting wants to go, create separation.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a position where
you want to get to the outside of early voting, right?
Yeah, then I can kind of dictate when I want to move. I think that it's an unusual thing. You've got three horses that Epicenter, Zandon, early voting that are coming into this training exceptionally well. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, you know what the definition of Epicenter is? The point on the Earth's vertical surface above the focus of an earthquake. Epicenter's going to create an earthquake today. You heard it here.
We need a name for this segment with you because you bring the definitions. What are we going to call it?
You know,
we'll work on it.
I do want to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
Four-horse field, it's a jockey's race.
Sure.
Would you rather have a speed horse, or would you rather have a horse that you know has kick?
Give me speed. I want you to run where I've been, and then I'm going to make it very difficult on you to get by me. You want to go outside of me, we're going out. You want to go inside of me, I'm shutting it down. I'm going to keep you guessing.
We've seen horses forward having a little more success on this racetrack, too.
Yeah.
Kickback's been very difficult. A lot of horses have been, now these are experienced horses, but still the kickback's been tough here.
Yeah.
Can you tell? We're excited about this grade 2 Jim Dandy coming up later this afternoon. Again, our ABR Race of the Week live coverage on Big Fox, 4:30 Eastern start time. It's the first week of the Travers Bankroll Builder. Your chance to earn a $20 bonus for that Midsummer Derby. To qualify, bet $50 to win on any one horse in the Jim Dandy today. You'll score a $20 bonus, win or lose. Go to NyraBets.com. You got to opt in. Get that $20 bonus to bet the Travers. We'll get into race 3 when we come back from this short timeout. Live coverage beginning over on FS2 right after this timeout.
Speightstown. Munning. Echo Town.
It's Echo Town for Joe Talamo, and Echo Town raced away, and Echo Town is drawing away in the stretch. Echo Town wins the Allen Turkin Stakes.
A sire line so prolific, it repeats itself. Echo Town.
There's no doubt that Kentucky breds are number one.
We never could compete with New York and Florida and all those tracks.
We needed a boost, and HHR has given us that boost.
The purses that the Kentucky breds are now running for matches how dominant they are.
We really have an opportunity to create new jobs and new tax revenue for the state on a year-round basis.
This is just the beginning. I don't think anybody has any idea how good it's going to get.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Welcome to Saturday action from the premier meet in the country. Today, this track in town buzzing over a showdown of maybe the three best three-year-olds in the sport right now. Chad Brown will send out two of them after Friday adding perhaps another Travers contender to the mix. Early voting delivered Brown a second classic win in the Preakness, showing he's not a simply need the lead type. It's been a frustrating Triple Crown season for Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen, who must be thinking what could have been with Epicenter, who was runner-up at the Kentucky Derby, and again in the Preakness. He's been training lights out leading up to the Jim Dandy. Asmussen also brings in the nation's undisputed top sprinter in the country, as Jackie Warrior looks to make history at the spot today with a Grade 1 win in the Vanderbilt. A special Saturday afternoon at the most competitive meet there is in our sport, Saratoga Racecourse. Our coverage brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Gorgeous aerial view of this iconic racetrack that dates back to 1863 here in upstate New York in Saratoga Springs. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Wolf. Great to be with you here on our FS2 continuing coverage from Jim Dandy Saturday. It's now the second half of this season for these three-year-olds. With the Triple Crown now behind us, we will see who will rise to the cream of the crop. That big target that still remains, that Midsummer Derby in the Travers. Whoever wins the Jim Dandy today likely will be favored in that Grade 1 event later on in the meet on August 27th. Just four will line up in the Jim Dandy today, including our Preakness winner and runner-up and the third-place finisher from the Kentucky Derby in Zandon. With me, Paul LaDuca, champion jockey Richard Migliori. The big three plus Tawnyport. Tough race to separate.
Tawnyport's good, too, and he's completely getting overlooked, but I think that speaks to the depth of this Jim Dandy. You've got three colts, Epicenter, Zandon, and early voting coming into this training spectacularly well.
Here's early voting. He has accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time. That Preakness win for him was just the fourth start of his career.
Yeah, and his weapon is speed. He is just naturally fast out of the gate. He can put himself in any kind of position, so that's what makes him so dangerous.
Meanwhile, Zandon, a lot of people thought this might be the horse going into the Derby for trainer Chad Brown, and looked like he was going to roll by Epicenter. Did he hang a bit in that race? What'd you think of his performance?
I thought he ran terrific. I think Epicenter kind of looked him in the eye and just was holding him at bay. I mean, he ran a winning effort, too, and I think that was only his fifth start. I mean, all of these are fairly lightly raced horses. Yeah. Epicenter, obviously had more foundation.
Yeah.
And with Epicenter, runner-up in the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, really hard to find fault with the resume he's put together. But could you say this? Maybe he's developed a lot more than some of these others, and they have more room to move forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's run the most. You sort of know what you're getting, but you're getting a nice horse. He's only run really one bad race. That was his first race. It was a learning experience. Since then, he has not missed the exacta, which means he has run first or second, and he's run against the best. So you can't really count him out. It's a tough call, you know?
I've been out every morning watching horses train, and I've been watching him train, and he's absolutely done something to me.
Yeah.
Even Steve Asmussen, as you look at today's races presented by Claiborne Farm, says his work second to last leading up to this race, the best I've seen from him, and I've seen some really impressive works from him. High praise from Hall of Fame trainer. Still have a lot to come in our program. Of course, Big Fox later today, 4:30 Eastern start time is where you will see that Jim Dandy and Jackie's Warrior in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt. You can get a free play for today's action, new members only. Punch in that code SPOT25 at sign up. at NyraBets.com and take advantage. That again, today only, that $25 free play. Beautiful weather for this Saturday afternoon here in Saratoga. And up next, race 3 in a horse that we thought we were going to see in another Travers prep yesterday, a stablemate to a horse who went off the favorite in that race, who'd allegedly been outworking him. And we'll get to him in a moment as we go to Cryo, the 2.
Yeah, Cryo for Orlando Noda. He ran a good second last time off on the claim. The Nodas are very good off the claim.
Here's Royal Tryst, big win at 1 1/8 here at the meet.
Sharp impression on the racetrack. Get Javier Castellano riding in great form.
Dylan Davis, Mark Hennig with Full Moon Fever.
Yeah, this one, a son of FNX. This horse is a horse that ran second to American Pharoah in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
6-1 on Southern Passage, Dale Roman's trainee.
Yeah, Southern Passage, I thought had a decent look in here coming out of that mile and 3/16 race, but does not have any placings here at Saratoga. That's my worry.
Major player here, Christophe Clement, Arad Ortiz Jr. with Endowed.
Yeah, Endowed, another horse that has speed for Christophe Clement and carried it last time and just got beat at the wire. The blinkers have helped.
And here's Wolf County, who reportedly had been outworking Creative Minister, who was 3rd in the Preakness.
It took a while to put it together, but he put it together. He did last time. And he gets Julian Leperoux, who just won on a 21-1 shot. Well, now he gets to ride a favorite here.
4 minutes to post here in our 3rd race of the afternoon on Jim Dandy Saturday. We welcome in for the first time today, Acacia Clement. Hi, Acacia.
Hey, Greg, and we'll start to the horse to the outside, Wolf County. I'm sure you like the name. And as you mentioned, according to the Glocker report, with Julian Leperoux aboard, was going a little bit easier inside versus Creative Minister, who, again, did go off as the favorite in that curling yesterday, though wasn't a factor. This horse, Wolf County, though, does have the benefit of being able to say that he's turning back in distance to this 1 1/8 trip, while many of the others are trying to stretch out in here. Distance is his friend, that's for sure. The only time I had ever seen him before was in December when he went 7 furlongs, and my notes that day were very big, looks like he wants to run forever, and that's what it took for him to get his maiden breaking score last time out. He kicked on after a 3-wide trip. I thought an impressive win by him. He's very long in his frame and his legs, and I like the warm-up that he's getting from Julian Leperoux because he was very subdued back in the paddock, but this is good energy out on the racetrack. The Endowed does have speed, as Paul mentioned, but last time out, I think it wasn't used in the way that you'd want it to be. He was off very slow and then just dragged Flavian Pratt up to the front, rushing up wide to take the lead, and that early move kind of caught up with him in the latter part of the race when he was run down by Dangerous Edge. He has been pretty laid back, as he always is in the preliminaries today. Irad Ortiz kept him with the pony. He's actually a little bit quieter with the pony today than he was 2 starts back when he first came off the layoff. He's also so much more fit now, making the 3rd start of this form cycle for him. Hopefully he gets off to a better break, because that will be the key. The number 2, Cryo, ran well at this distance last time out. He is stepping up in class off the claim. Now, last time out, they just could not get the tack on him. It was very much the same story again today. He just seems to be the type of horse that is really tricky back in the paddock to get the saddle on, to get the girth on, and then once they do, he's fine. They've eventually had to saddle him on the walk. He, too, has been kept pretty quiet out on track. Trevor McCarthy stays aboard. 2nd best last time out, but he ran fine. We know he can handle the trip, and at a price, certainly one who could potentially outrun his odds. Greg?
All right, Acacia, thank you. Minute to post coming up here in this 3rd. Great crowd on hand, as we expect on a day like this, when you have the star power that's lining up. Top sprinter in our sport, maybe the 3 top 3-year-olds in training in the Jim Dandy, all eyeing that run-happy Travers. And here's a horse, you never know. If he runs big in this spot against older horses, we may see him show up in the Travers.
He's going to have to improve a lot. I mean, I'm surprised he's favored here.
Well, I think he's favored because of what Greg said. You know, a lot of people have focused on that he was outworking Creative Minister. I want to note to you that he lost a maiden 50. Now, he did come back and win, going 1 mile and 3/16. The hardest thing in racing is facing winners for the first time. So what ends up happening, that was Wolf County's first win ever. Now he's got to face horses that have already won. So I know I have my play on the 9 because I think the 9 has got some talent, but 6-5 is ridiculous.
It is a bit, and look, and he's tackling older horses, but that last race that he put together to break his maiden, sometimes horses just take a little time to come around.
True.
He ran a huge figure in that race that if he can move forward just a little bit, he's not that far off some of these top 3-year-olds.
Okay, I mean, he's got to show it to me. I think sometimes when horses have to fight for it, their figures might not be as, sparkling as when they kind of dominate a field. How do you guys feel about his outside post?
Well, I mean, the issue that I have, the 6 and the 9 are not that far off, as you see the 6 right on the screen. So there's no way the 6 should be 6-1. You're looking at Dale Romans, who's having, I get it, a rough year, but this horse hasn't won in 2 years, but this horse has run against way better horses than the 9.
Much tougher. That's why I landed on him.
Yeah.
And even 3-1 on Endowed. Surprising he's that big. I know that was his morning line, but for him to be that bigger a number than Wolf County.
What about the 7? 7's in pretty good form too. I mean, I just think 6-5 is tough to take. There's some horses in here that are in good form.
It's got to be the workouts, right?
It's got to be, I would think.
Listen, we're in Saratoga County, not Wolf County.
Well, we'll find out after this performance, won't we?
Or is it your money?
I don't have an E on the end. There's Bold Victory stepping in. So the 3-year-old Wolf County from that outside post, the 9, Julian LePeroux. He'll look to go back-to-back, teaming up with Kenny McPeak on the last to load. Favored, this 3-year-old tackling older company. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial, the call.
They're in the gate. And they're off. A bit of a bobble at the start for number 9, Wolf County, and the favorite is on the extreme outside as they race into the clubhouse turn. And from that inside post, it is Kiss-A-Lot who has the early lead, with Cryo racing in second, and Dowd is next in third. Full Moon Fever in the white blinkers runs in fourth. Wolf County up on the outside and next in fifth. And then comes Bold Victory, who is racing in sixth, now being passed on the inside by Royal Tryst and by Southern Passage. They're on the backstretch after a quarter and 24 seconds. Long shots, Kiss-A-Lot and Cryo. They are 1-2. With Endowed right there on the outside in third. Break of 2 to Full Moon Fever in fourth. The favorite, Wolf County, is fifth, 4.5 from the lead. And then comes Royal Tryst, who's down at the rail. And on the outside is a Bold Victory, followed by Southern Passage. The half mile in 48 and 1/5 seconds. It is still Kiss-A-Lot and Cryo there, 1-2. Full Moon Fever is down at the rail, and Dowd is on the outside. Wolf County is now back running in sixth, better than 7 lengths from the lead. At the rail is Royal Tryst. Then comes Bold Victory and Southern Passage, 3/4, 112 and 2. Kiss-A-Lot has been the leader right from the start, as Cryo is in second with Full Moon Fever and Endowed. They are at the head of the stretch, and it is Kiss-A-Lot, the one to catch. Kiss-A-Lot has a 4-length lead in the stretch, trying to pull off the upset here. It is Kiss-A-Lot in front. Cryo still in second. And on the outside is Bold Victory in third. It is Kiss-A-Lot and Jose Ortiz on this 14-1 shot. And they did it in front-running fashion. Kiss-A-Lot won by a lot over Cryo. And then Bold Victory to complete the trifecta.
Kiss-A-Lot in front all the way. Tough one to come up with if you had this one. Well done. Saffy Joseph Jr. just claimed Jose Ortiz aboard for the winning ride.
And he's coming out of sprints. He got very comfortable on the lead, and he just kept finding the son of Fort Larned, winning much the way Fort Larned would run. Just pop right to the lead. So Kiss-A-Lot, very impressive. One of only 2 3-year-olds in this race, the other being Wolf County on the outside, with Kiss-A-Lot from the rail, wire to wire.
We saw the long shot in the last race, our dream ride win. Ian Wilkes trained the sire of this horse, Fort Larned, to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. And now Kiss-A-Lot, we didn't really mention, but Saffy Joseph claimed this horse obviously with the purpose. You look, there's a bullet work down there. He's 23% off the claim, and he's 25% sprinter out, but you're thinking 6 furlongs to 1.1 miles. Well, they let this gelding on the lead in the front end, and he got brave.
And pretty much a merry-go-round race. The one Kiss-A-Lot and the two Cryo, 1-2 around the racetrack.
7 was the only one that made up any ground at all, Greg. He's right. It was 1-2 around the racetrack.
14-1 over 13-1 over 13-1 for that trifecta. Kiss-A-Lot, first time going this distance in front by himself. Liked going long, I think.
Right? You just never know. You got to check all the boxes. And a heady claim by Saffie Joseph, daily double racing. Hey, let's give this horse and let's go a mile and 8, see what we got. Put the horse on the front end, and look what happened.
Well, a horse that has chased some fast paces, 21-4, 22-1. Now all of a sudden he's in front by himself with his ears up, going 24 and change.
Yeah, right.
He thought it was a walk in the park.
You saw Saffie Joseph Jr. heading to the winner's circle. There he is. Wins a lot in South Florida, but starting to win all over the country now. Does here with a 14-1 shot. Prices from this third. When we come back, of course, still awaiting the big rematch. Top 2 finishers from the middle jewel of the Triple Crown. Early voting, Epicenter 1-2 in that Preakness. Getting set to do battle again in the Jim Dandy. That, of course, on Big Fox. That begins at 4:30 Eastern Time.
Eclipse champion Run Happy, the #1 second crop dirt sire of last year, is back and showing a new dimension with winners on turf, dirt, and all weather. A record-breaking sprint champion, Run Happy is also siring winners at all distances, from 7 furlongs to 1.25 miles. A sire whose runners can carry his speed over all distances and all surfaces. Run Happy, price for value, and standing strong at Claiborne Farm.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Keeneland September yearling sale.
A terrific maternal pedigree, Grade 1 winners, and champions across the page.
Go to the back. Good luck.
Back at our live coverage of Jim Dandy Saturday from Saratoga Racecourse, brought to you in part by Naira Bets, where you can play it all. Download the app or go to nairabets.com. Kiss-A-Lot stretching out distance for the first time and going gate to wire for the win in this third from Saratoga at 14-1.
Just got so comfortable on the lead. Looked like a winner pretty much every step of the way. A race dominated on the front end. Kiss-A-Lot at 30-40.
Wow. 1-2-7. How about that trifecta for 50 cents? $355. Let's go to Acacia.
Some big prices as I'm pleased to be joined by your winning trainers, Saffie Joseph Jr. and Saffie Kiss-A-Lot, who you claimed and then immediately went to the 9 furlongs. Did you claim the source with the anticipation of going longer?
No, really, initially, Mike Wilson actually picked the claim. He's the manager of the ownership group, and obviously a great claim. And we were initially going to run him back for 50, and then we worked him once, and we were like, no. I mean, he literally flew the first time we worked him, and then Mike said, what about running him along? And the way he trained, it looked like it was the right decision. So we went ahead today, and we put him in this race, and he ran like how he worked. He literally trained like a horse that was going to be tough.
And it's funny, he's not built like a sprinter. He's a pretty big horse, too, but he got so comfortable on the front end.
Correct, and that's what Mike said. Mike, when he came in the paddock, he said he looks like the only two-turn horse. And I told him, I don't know about the distance, because anytime you're doing it for the first time, you never really know until they do it. So thankfully, he ran to his works, and we're very thankful that the ownership group is a new ownership group, and we're happy for the opportunity.
Now you've got a nice runner who's found a home sprinting a little bit later in the Vanderbilt. New York Traffic back into Graded Stakes company, but he's coming in off a couple nice wins. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, we dropped him in class, obviously in the New York bred races, and we picked an easier stake at Penn just to kind of get confidence with the intention of putting him back against Grade 1 horses. It's not an easy spot. Jackie's Ward's a champion. It's his race to win or lose. We would be thankful to run second, but in racing, you still go with hope. I mean, we're going to hope to win, but realistically, we know if we could walk away running second or third, we'll be very happy.
Got to be in it to win it. Best of luck later, Safi.
Thank you very much.
Safi Joseph Jr. with a big day coming up, Greg, but a nice way to start it with a win here.
Safi from Barbados. He trained Triple Crown champion in Barbados, and he got his first really big win here in the U.S. when Math Wizard won that Penn Derby back in 2019.
Man, I like Safi. If you ever watch Safi, I think he does like 28 signs of the crosses before his horses go into the gate. Yeah, he does. But I tell you what, he's starting to expand, and winning races here in Saratoga is tough. It took him a little while, but he's a really good trainer, Greg.
$40,000 maiden claiming event, 5.5 on the turf coming up in the 4th from Saratoga. We will be back with that one, and we'll talk more about the big showdown coming up for Chad Brown. He's got two of the best 3-year-olds in our sport. Zandon, third in the Derby. Preakness champ early voting, going head-to-head. Coming up.
Standing at Gainesway.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Nairo Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Nairo Bets.
Strategic speed. Some speed at 2, but can carry it on through their later careers.
Improbable, full of run.
Improbable, now a Grade 1 winner. It is a complete runaway, an authoritative run.
It's improbable to win the Whitney.
Stay fabulous. Resorts World.
Then race 2, it's like, is he going to do that again? That was, for me, the big question is, can he do that again? John and the barn and everyone, Caesar, Adolfo, keeping a really good eye on him.
Flight line goes in, they're all set.
Seeing how Flavian intentionally had him kind of lean in on a horse when they were going around the second turn.
Flight line, these two stride for stride.
And he did it again.
Is this the next superstar?
Another giant box checked off. That horse, like it looks like the this is really happening. And then the Malibu opening day at Santa Anita.
As Flightline turns it on at the top of the stretch, and he's going to turn this into his easiest win yet. Flightline.
Just phenomenal, and he stepped it up.
Congratulations to you guys. It is Flightline romping in the Grade 1 Malibu.
101st phase tipped at Saratoga sale, August 8th and 9th. Maybe there's another Flightline waiting to be purchased. Take a look at the Jim Dandy. By the numbers, of course, named after that incredible upset of the Triple Crown winner Gallon Fox at 100-1. Louis Quatorze for Nick Zito, holding the speed record in the race. Most wins by an owner. Godolphin collected their third with Essential Quality, who got that victory despite that wide trip last year. Todd Pletcher, 6 wins, including Palace Malice back in 2013. 3 jockeys have won it 4 times, including Johnny V. 3 of his 4 coming for Todd Pletcher. Jim Dandy winners named 3-year-old male champion. Bernardini, Essential Quality last year, 2 and 3-year-old champion. Jim Dandy winners named Horse of the Year, affirmed that incredible performance he had refusing to lose back in 1978. He, of course, was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1980. And Jim Dandy winner and Triple Crown winner, affirmed refusing to be denied in that incredible performance. I believe carrying 128 pounds in that race. What a performance. This year's edition, we expect to see some fireworks as well with the big 3 that are lining up in the race.
I think it's a terrific group here. Small but select field, very accomplished colts. And I think at the end of the day, at the end of the season, I should say, we're going to look back and say this is a very deep, talented group of 3-year-olds, a strong crop.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Epicenter, you could argue, I mean, listen, inches away of going maybe for the Triple Crown. A bad break in the Preakness, people could say. A bad beat in the Derby. Tawnyport was not far behind Zandon and Epicenter in the Derby. Came back to win a nice little race. And then early voting and Zandon sort of speak for themselves. So, I mean, this has got to be one of the best 4-horse fields I've ever seen.
It's incredible.
Right?
Top to bottom, just packed with not just talent, star power in our sport right now. I think many would say right now these are the 3 best 3-year-olds in the country. Of course, waiting in the wings for that Travers. We are going to see Rich Strike, the Derby winner. He's going to train up to that race in the Travers. And Chad Brown with a little more depth. Artorias looked very impressive. Homebred for Juddmonte in just the 3rd start of his career, winning that Curlin yesterday.
And the way he finished, I mean, he ran through the wire. His stride was not deteriorating. 1.25 miles is going to be very well within his wheelhouse. And then throw in Cyberknife, your Haskell winner, who threw his hat in the ring. The Travers is important for 3-year-old honors every year. This year takes on even greater importance.
Yeah, that son of Arrogate, who we lost too early as well, is progressing very nicely. And I don't think the distance is going to be a problem. It's just, is he going to be seasoned enough because he's very talented?
Yeah, that is, wow.
Yeah.
4th start of your career, going into the Grade 1 Travers at 1.25 miles, but he looked impressive yesterday. Of course, the Jim Dandy, again, probably whoever wins this race, you would think, is going to be that favorite on Run Happy Travers Day. Jim Dandy you'll see live later today, Big Fox, 4:30 Eastern start time. That program also includes top sprinter in the land, Jackie's Warrior, and the Grade 1 Vanderbilt. But with a matchup like this in this Jim Dandy, that's why not just a big crowd on hand, but a crowd where you feel that buzz in the air.
You do, because I think everybody, there's 3 horses in the race I think everybody's been waiting to see run back. There's just fans. I've seen people, I can't wait. I've been waiting for Zandon to run back. I've been waiting for early voting to come run back. I've been waiting for Epicenter. So there's fans from everybody. And if you go around the crowd today, there's not really everybody that loves one. I'm getting one from each. I haven't heard Tawnyport, but I've heard everybody likes a little bit of a variety in the race.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just speaks to just how evenly matched and you know, competitive this race is. Like you said, for a small field, you couldn't be much more exciting.
Yeah.
5.5 furlong turf sprint coming up in this $40,000 maiden claiming event. Let's go to Acacia.
We'll take a look at a couple of horses trying the turf for the first time as first-time starter Lady Firefoot. A little chatty behind me, but taking a look at Jabberwock, who has a big pedigree to like the grass as well, getting on the turf for the first time for Jorge Abreu. This filly by Creative Cause, who's by Giants Causeway, obviously a strong turf presence there. I have to grade 3 place Shoddy, who's actually running a little bit later on today, a turf winner, and in fact, all 3 of the siblings have won on the grass. This filly has a flatter hoof to her, looks like she should handle the turf. She's very big, as I've noticed that the other progeny in the family are as well. She actually looks like she could go a little bit further than this, but I'm intrigued by her getting on the grass. Given the pedigree and given her physicality, she has a really imposing type of presence to her as well, and looks like prepared coming into this spot. She also takes what seems to be a needed drop in class down to the maiden claiming level. The number 7, Our Super Love, also gets on the turf for the first time. As far as her pedigree, there isn't as much turf influence in the immediate generation on the bottom side, and your many horsemen who do feel that Union Rags can be a turf influence. She has a pretty good turf hoof to her. I certainly will give her that. She's also one that I thought, even looking back at my notes from when she was a 2-year-old, that she could potentially go a little bit longer, but she's filled into herself. She looks fit coming back. I'm going to watch her with interest in here. I would say of these trying the turf for the first time, Jabberwock, the one I'm very excited to see to get on the green stuff for the first time, Greg.
Keisha, thank you. Post parade coming up momentarily. And you see 9-5 favoritism on Devilly. Big drop in class. It's a filly, though, who has been in for maiden claiming on the grass before.
Yeah, she has. She has 10 starts, 2 seconds, a lot of thirds, so she's been very, very close. She's by far the lowest wheel pace, so she's going to be favored. And this was when she ran, I think, a decent third on this day. And, you know, Mick, she kind of just, like, runs in place almost, right? And you got to hope the horses in front of you back up, I guess.
That's what it feels like. She's a little bit one pace. I'm not seeing a big turn of foot, maybe going 5.5. You know, the horses blast off and they come back to her. I'd be honest with you, 10 starts, I didn't see a lot of excuses in some of her races. I have a hard time taking her at a short price.
I mean, she was in for $15,000 at one time. She was claimed for $15,000 way back at Turfway Park. Now, I know Mike Maker's done good things with her, so is this really a true drop for 40 here?
Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. You look at that race that we just showed you, and
it probably wins this, huh?
I think it does.
Yeah, because the other horses. I mean, maybe because of the other horses.
Finding the right field,
yeah,
maybe.
You might be right.
And she has progressed since those earlier races, hasn't she? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in one thing you do make, she is forward, so she does have speed. And dropping in class, that speed will probably play out a little bit better. Yeah.
No, good point.
I'm a little bit interested in some of the maybe strangers. You know, the 2, Lady Firefoot, is out of a mare that was a stakes winner on turf, who's thrown 4 turf winners. First-time starter from a very good horseman in Pat Reynolds, but does most of his work with claiming types. 5-1.
Yeah,
That's
you got to
taking
pay attention to
significant
the
money.
tote board.
Getting bet 12-1 to 5-1.
Big turf pedigree,
Yeah.
12-1 morning line on the 2, and down to 5-1 right now.
And the other horse too is, you know, the one horse. I think at 13-1 with Emma Jane Wilson last time at Woodbine. That's a racetrack up in Toronto. They have very good turf racing. That was actually a very good effort. And, you know, draws the rail and I think can make out her own trip with Junior Alvarado aboard. I thought she had a shot at 13-1 in this race.
Yeah, I again, obviously Devilry makes a lot of sense. Devilry, excuse me. I think she, you know, deserves to be the favorite. I don't want her as the favorite. I'm going to try to look elsewhere and get a little bit of a price with somebody that hasn't proven what they are yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's you look, a lot of opportunities to be 9-5.
Yeah.
So some of the more lightly raced runners in here that you might give a look to. Obviously that first timer, the 2 we talked about. Here's Union Dolly, the 9, Ray Handel runner, getting back to sprinting after going a mile last start.
Yeah, and, you know, Joel Rosario staying put gives me a vote of confidence. Joel Rosario's a rider that usually has options, and he has an agent that knows in Ron Anderson how to exploit those options. The fact that they stay put here, dropping in for 40 and turning back in distance, makes me feel like Joel said, you know what, I want a rider back going shorter.
I'll tell you what, he's rode 500. in the daily racing form, it says he's rode 520 horses this year. He's at a 21 win percent. He's got to be 35% turf sprints. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's just so patient. And what makes them so key is it's the shortest race that they run, right? The 5.5 furlong turf sprint. And his patience, where everybody else is in such a hurry, makes him the best.
He delivers at the absolute last moment and does it consistently. It's not by mistake.
Yeah.
He times his runs impeccably well.
Joel Rosario coming off the first Eclipse Award as outstanding rider in his career, came very close to setting several records in the process. He got injured very late in the year, which derailed that run. There he is in the front of our screen with a big smile on his face. There is no panic on, and he might be the coolest, calmest rider there is in our sport.
Listen, he's walking alongside that filly, and she's acting up. She's pretty rambunctious. You could see he's not a care in the world. Gets the leg up. He's smiling, laughing. She's still bouncing around. He's just as cool a cat as there is.
No, he really is.
Is there an athlete that comes to mind for you, Paulie, that reminds you of him?
Gary Sheffield. Just you walk the walk, you talk the talk. And I remember, and I've said this story before on air, and I'm going to repeat it. You know, back in the days, you just wore your black shoes or your blue shoes. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, those guys wore unique shoes. And I remember Chef broke out these brand new white shoes, these white Nikes, had his name on the side. And I said, Chef, man, how come you're wearing those white shoes? He goes, because I can. And that's Joel Rosario.
Yep.
But Joel Rosario doesn't show it. And Chef never really showed it. Speak, louder than words, right? Actions are louder than words, and that's what Joel Rosario is, and that's what reminds me of
Flirted with a triple crown in his playing days with the Padres. Love that batting stance from him. First week of the Travers Bankroll Builder, your chance to earn a $20 bonus for the Run Happy Travers. To qualify, bet $50 to win on any one horse in today's Jim Dandy, and you'll score that $20 bonus whether you win or lose. Go to NyraBets.com and do opt in. You have to do that to take advantage of that offer today. So coming down Champions Way, post-parade coming up for this fourth, which we told you at the beginning of the program, mandatory payout pick 5 begins in this race coming up. We'll start with the one Creemore, Junior Alvarado rides.
Comes out of a good effort up at Woodbine in a similar type of group, and those races are good, as Paul alluded to, up at Woodbine.
Here's Lady Firefoot, that first-time starter, taking all the money.
Yeah, by Temple City and Javier Castellano. The hot Javier Castellano gets in the irons.
Next door, Jabberwock, trying turf for the first time.
Yeah, with a pedigree that suggests she'll really appreciate the turf. Mare's thrown 3 turf winners.
Travis, Ricardo Santana Jr. rides at 9-1.
This is a filly that's dropping in class. She's had some gate issues. If she can get out of the gate, she could be a player.
Yeah, big drop for her. She's dangerous on that alone. 6-1 on Diamond Damsa for Brad Cox.
Has shown some improvement to drop into the maiden 40 level, turns back in distance.
Queen de la Creme, she showed speed in her turf debut.
Yeah, with Jalen Samuel aboard, who will stick. Jalen can ride. He will stick aboard. 12-1 on the line, 16-1 currently.
First on turf for Our Super Love.
Yeah, off a subpar effort on synthetic, but drops in class.
Still the favorite, 9-5 Devilly for Mike Maker.
Yeah, it's the 11th time the charm for this filly by Noble Mission. Maybe she catches the right field today.
Joel Rosario, there he is on the 9 Union Dolly for Ray Handel as well.
Rode this filly against Better, going a mile, turns back to 5.5, and Joel stays put.
Cut back in distance for a Hope Over Fear. Jorge Abreu trains.
I'm surprised this horse is 12-1. I thought she'd get bet a little bit. I think she has an outside shot at that price.
And 22-1 outside, Sparkling Water, also for the Mike Maker barn.
Yeah, has one turf race to go back to. Was the first time out. Didn't show a lot that day, but she was a first-time starter and didn't break particularly sharp.
So minute to post coming up. These 5.5 furlong turf sprints. A little bit of luck involved.
Yes.
And usually, not always, but usually it's a good thing to be forward.
Yeah, you avoid traffic. You create your trip. You don't have to fight your way through and amongst horses. It's better to have a forward spot.
Let's go to Acacia, standing by with a special guest.
A very special guest indeed. So happy to have Carson Kressley with me, TV personality, but Carson, you're also involved in horse racing. You've been an owner, a breeder. Tell me how it is being here at Saratoga today.
I mean, Saratoga's always great. I mean, it is so beautiful here. and the best racing in the country, beautiful setting. And what I love about horse racing, it's not just about the racing. I mean, of course, they're the centerpiece, but you get to dress up and maybe like drink some champagne and hang out with your peeps or have a cigar. I don't do that, but people do that. And it's just a fun day at the track.
Absolutely, and it was a fun morning for us too. This race named the Miss Scarlet. This morning we had the Racing and Rosé fashion show. I'm wearing a little Miss Scarlet number. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the National Racing Museum is here in Saratoga. It's so beautiful, and they have like Seabiscuit's shoes and like his saddle and like so much racing history, but just a lot of American history too. And there was a fantastic fashion show this morning that I got to host. That raised money for the museum, but also for your charity, which is incredible.
Yes, thank you.
You should talk about.
Thank you.
Take over. Tell us about your charity.
Thank you, Carson. I love this. I'm being interviewed by Carson now. We got a chance to...
I know. Relax.
I know.
Take a breather.
This is fun. I like being on this side. We got a chance to raise some money for Racing for Home this morning. Aftercare organization run by me and my mom for horses, not just on the racetrack, but after their racing days are over as well.
Amazing. We love you for that.
And you're a great interviewer.
Thank you. Back to you.
I love it. Carson was...
I know what I'm doing.
Carson is a pro. So happy to have you here at the track today. Enjoy.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
All right, Craig. Well, you can see we are having a terrible time down here in the winner's circle.
Hold on, he's not done. Tell him to come over here and do some handicapping with us.
Carson's one of my favorite people in the world. A lot of people don't realize he's a giant Met fan, too. And I got to interview him in 2018. Carson is a great person. He does a lot for the game, a lot for Retired Thoroughbred Foundation, a lot for the PDJF. He's involved a ton and is a super guy, man.
And as expected, one of the best dressed on site today.
Well, I was going to say, as impeccably dressed as he is, and he's always so sharp.
Yeah.
I forget the handicap. Take me shopping. Let's go to Barnes and help me outfit.
We could use a makeover.
He'll assess your outfit if you want him to. He's great that way. He's just got an upbeat personality, and he brings it to the racetrack. It's awesome.
Post time coming up for this fourth. We all are a little gun shy, I think, with the 8.
Kind of bit. But then you look at the rest of the field, and you're like, put it this way. Would you say if the 8 doesn't win today, where does she go? You know what I mean? Today's got to be the day, right, Greg?
This came up a fairly tough maiden 40, though, didn't it?
It kind of did. But I'll tell you what, they buried her in the pick. She is the lowest in the pick by far. As you can see, we're all going with prices. We're hoping that the prices keep on coming in.
And, you know, we back to the 2 for a moment. We talked about that pedigree. There's a lot of turf pedigree there. Look at the works on dirt. That work 2 back out of the gate. Quickest of 83 in the morning.
Sharp
and probably
gate work.
moves forward on grass.
Yeah, I mean, her pedigree says grass, and she's taking money. I'm going to tell you, full disclosure, guys, I made an exacta box 239. That's my play.
No devilishly anywhere. Devilishly, excuse me.
Yeah.
The 3, Jabberwock, who's making her turf debut. Jorge Abreu just steps in, so Mig including that filly. And here is the 9 on Mig's ticket as well, Union Dolly. We're set for the 4th from Saratoga. Davily dropping back down in class. The 8, Luis Saez, Mike Maker, potent combination. Can she win as the favorite? Let's go to John Imbrial.
We are set for race 4. Rider briefly off, number 1, Creemore, now back on. And they're off. Hesitant beginning for number 2, Lady Firefoot, and she trails. It is Diamond Damza and Queen Delacram going out for the lead. Creemore is down on the inside, running in 3rd. Our Super Love is next in 4th. And then on the outside is Hope Over Fear, who is racing in 5th position. As they race up the backstretch, it's Diamond Damza, Queen Delacram. They are heads apart for the lead. Devilly has advanced now up on the outside into 3rd. Then Our Super Love and Hope Over Fear as Creemore drops out of it. Passed by Union Dolly. And then it is Sparkling Water, followed by Lady Firefoot. And then comes Travers, and way back is Jabberwock. They are in the stretch with a Diamond Damza trying to hold off Devilly on the outside. Diamond Damza with the lead, then Devilly, and here comes Union Dolly kicking in late. Union Dolly to the front, and it will be Union Dolly. And another upset winner here at Saratoga. Union Dolly at 10-1.
We talked about him in the paddock. Cool customer Joel Rosario with that big late finish on Union Dolly, turning back in distance for trainer Ray Handel.
And once again, patient, saved ground, came out once they got into the stretch, found his room, comes with the last run. And the fact that he stayed put, Paul, to me, was key.
Yeah, it was definitely key. The 5 tried to get away from this group. There was a lot of traffic behind. I couldn't tell what was going on. A lot of bumping going around, but I looked at you guys. I said, the 9's loaded, and you could tell he was loaded going on the backstretch. She had a ton of horse, and Joel had a ton of horse. And Manny Franco did the right thing. He took the 5 right to the front end, and nobody really wanted to go by besides the 9, Union Dolly. And if you're alive in this pick 5, my goodness.
Despite our reigning Eclipse Award winning rider being on this filly, this was a really tough one to come up with.
Yeah, you know, because there are a couple of races that she go to, they were not good. But here's the thing. She ran in 12-horse fields. Sometimes we fall into these horses that run in 5, 6, 7-horse fields. And, you know, and you're Joel Rosario, you're getting 10-1 on the turf. And I just said right before, he's got to be 35 when it comes to sprint turf.
Well, listen, I feel like I got a little unlucky. Lady Firefoot broke poorly, rallied up, got beat a nose for 3rd. And if she had broken cleanly, I think my exacta might have got home. But Union Dolly got a great ride from Joel and was in well-placed 5.5, you know, dropping in class. Yeah. And Joel Rosario staying put.
And in the 8-horse, Davili, she kind of is what she is.
She is what she is. She's there, but she's not breaking through.
Yeah.
Continually picking up checks. But, yeah, we talked about this was an unusually tough 40 maiden claiming turf sprint, I think.
It was,
but
because
still, yeah, at this point, she's had her chances.
Yeah, the 9 was dropping from 75 to 40, so the horse that dropped, but a good job by Ray Handel. He's done a good job of this filly. And, you know, they've tried her on the turf 3 times, okay? She's beaten 1 horse. She ran mid-pack. She beat 2 horses. He went back on the turf, kept on going with her, going, listen, she's going to run on the turf sooner or later. We just got to drop her, and she found her friends.
By the way, look who's giving Carson Kressley a run for his money with his outfit today. Ray Handel, trainer at Union Dolly, bringing his A game.
Got to, especially on Jim Dandy Day, right?
Maybe another tell.
That is true. Best dressed usually know they're going to get in the winner's circle, right?
10-1. Joel Rosario, Ray Handel, Blue Lion thoroughbreds. And 4 previous starts, 3 of them on the grass, had not hit the board. A big finish down the stretch here against this group with the drop in class.
Just swallowed them late. Just swallowed them late. And physically, a big filly, too. You could tell in the stretch. She just swallowed them up.
This early pick 5, we're going to move into the final leg coming up. And I thought the 5th race was certainly of this early pick 5, the most difficult wagering race, maybe of the whole day. 5th race is wide open. This is going to be a tremendous return in this pick 5. Incredible.
Yeah, hopefully you played that middle pick 5 and you got to Jackie's Warrior, because Jackie's Warrior is the end of that pick 5, and I'm sure a lot of people singled Jackie.
Yeah, many believe it's a pick 4. I think just about everybody does. We're going to say bye to Mig for right now. You're going to do some other duties for us.
Yeah, I'll be out in the paddock reporting. I'm going to find that guy to talk about my outfit.
Carson?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's going to give you A+.
Get us some help for us, too. We could use it. Steve Asmussen, his superstar sprinter, back at Saratoga, where he is 4 for 4 in his career, trying to collect a Grade 1 win for the 3rd consecutive year. Jackie's Warriors still ahead in the Vanderbilt.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A 6-time graded stakes winner from ages 2 to 4, he was the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs. Now his progeny are bringing top dollar in the sales ring. dual surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
For over a century, success starts at Saratoga. As America's #1 ranked yearling sale by percentage of Grade 1 and graded stakes winners, Saratoga is the can't-miss event of the summer. One catalog of selected yearlings offered over 2 electrifying evenings. Recent Grade 1 winners include the brilliant Flightline, Bleecker Street, Maracuja, and Queen Goddess, plus new Hall of Fame inductee Tepin. The Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale, August 8th and 9th in Saratoga Springs, New York. Where will you be?
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, our program, as always, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Race 4 in the books. This turf sprint went to Union Dolly, who returned $22.60. Joel Rosario in the saddle for winning trainer Ray Handel, who joins me now. Ray, dropping class, plus the cutback in distance for this big filly, but she was sharp today.
Yes, she was. You know, she was a little tardy from the break, which actually kind of worked out well for her, you know, breaking from the 9-hole. I was a little worried about, you know, going wide and giving up ground. You know, I thought it was kind of the race unfolded nicely for her.
Tell me a little bit about picking this spot for her, because you had tried her going longer, which you could see in her physical, but it turns out she's just seems like she's a better sprinter, able to settle a little more.
Yeah, you know, we've tried experimenting a few things because she does train like a nice filly in the morning. Last year she seemed pretty nice, and we ran her twice, and she just didn't produce, so we gave her time off, brought her back. She ran well in the sprint, but she kind of acted like she might want to go a bit longer. Tried her long. She was just really ranked, fought Joelle the entire race. So I said, you know what, let's just freshen her up, have her sharp and ready for these 5.5 races, and you know, maybe they'll run away quick like it ended up working out, and you know, she'll be able to motor them down and settle and make one run.
Always nice when things work out as planned. And Carson Kressley in the winner's circle, we have to give a moment to your purple suit here.
I don't know if I can hold a candle to him, but we're trying.
Looking good, Ray. Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Ray Handel got the fashion memo today, Greg.
Sharp-dressed man right there, young up-and-coming trainer, is having a lot of success. Good for Ray Handel joining us on the set. Good to see you, Anthony Stabile.
What's up, Big A?
How's your Jim Dandy day going?
It's going all right. It's not as good as Ray Handel's. I don't think I can pull that suit off. I really don't.
He could use your tie, and you could even
use the
improve
tie.
what he's
Yes,
doing.
He actually,
You both got the purple going.
I don't think he owns a tie. I really
He may
don't.
not.
He's a good guy, Ray.
Yeah, he
good
is.
trainer, too.
No, he
Philly
is.
ran well today.
We're going to get into this fifth coming up. Jim Dandy, who do you like?
I like early voting today. You know, the Rodney Dangerfield and the Chad Brown barn. Forget about the 3-year-old crop. Just in the Chad Brown barn alone. Jack Christopher. You hear about Zandon. Now you're going to hear about Artorias. How about the Preakness winner, everybody? Going to take him gate to wire later on in the Jim Dandy, I believe.
Fifth race, back on dirt here, 6 furlongs. Allowance optional claiming field for New York breds. This is an incredibly contentious group. I didn't know what to do here at all.
Well, I was 5 deep in here. I just got bounced, but yeah, this is a tough group of horses in race number 5, definitely.
5-2 favorite, Bronx Bomber. Horse, it was 6-1 on the morning line, still to come. The Alfred G. Vanderbilt, Grade 1 sprint with the best sprinter in the country lining up, and that means trouble for everybody else. Jackie's Warrior, 1-5 on the morning line.
Yeah, you know, that's a gutsy thing by our morning line oddsmaker, David Aragona. 1-5 in a Grade 1 at Saratoga. And the funny thing is, it's deservedly so. There's not a more dominant division leader in this country right now than Jackie's Warrior. His last 2 efforts, simply sensational. The race at Churchill Downs on Derby Day, named the Churchill Downs, and then this True North right at beautiful Belmont Park. I mean, what could you say? 4 for 4. Guys, he's looking to win a Grade 1 as a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old here at Saratoga. Andy and I were racking our brains this morning. I can't think of anybody else who's done that. I know Mind Control.
No one's done it.
Yeah, no one's done it. I mean,
right?
it's just it's unbelievable. He is a picture of consistency, and he has, dare I say, gotten better this year after the Eclipse
It's incredible, all the history at this racetrack, that no one's accomplished that yet. And he's got a chance to be the first.
It's true. And, you know, last year when he won the Jerkins, I mean, that's Life is Good. That's not some other horse. That's Life is Good that he's holding off. He's on the rail, and if you look now, Joel, as he's gotten older, has gotten him out in the middle of the racetrack because I think he likes to see horses. But he's fighting off Life is Good, who
going to win the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile.
Goes in the conversation as one of the best older horses, obviously, with Flightline and a lot of other horses. So a lot of people say he hasn't faced a lot of horses. That's one right there. But since he's been a 4-year-old, he's doing things so easy. I think a lot of people are saying, I don't want no part of him.
And I think there's no chance we even get 1-5 on him in that race.
Probably shouldn't.
Right?
It sounds ridiculous, but I'd never say 1-5 is an overlay, but he's supposed to be 1-5. He's really supposed to be 1-9.
Yeah.
He really is.
Which probably seems a little more likely. So that's to come. Grade 1 Vanderbilt. We're treated as stars at this meet. Hopefully we get to see him a couple times, expecting to see him in the Forego as well.
I think you will be, just because he's won with such ease this year. There's just so much petroleum in his tank, I'm telling you.
That'll be on Big Fox, part of that coverage at 4:30 Eastern start time. And up next, this 5th race, one of the better betting races on this card. You can make a case for every single one lining up here in race 5 from Saratoga. Again, the favorite right now, Bronx Bomber. Arad Ortiz Jr. meets leading rider, teaming up with trainer Linda Rice. We'll have more on race 5 when we come back.
Every breeder hopes to leave a lasting genetic legacy. It's one of the few true paths to immortality. The importance, permanence, and legacy of Alapa is best understood by the influence of Prince Palatine. To put Prince Palatine's significance and that of the farm into a proper perspective, every stallion at Alapa traces their parentage back to Prince Palatine. Hill and Dale at Alapa, where the obscure becomes obvious.
Maximum Security proves he's the real deal with a gate-to-wire win in the Florida Derby.
Champion 3-year-old.
Maximum Security has won the TVG.com Haskell Invitational.
11 triple-digit buyers.
Maximum Security, he smoked them in the Cigar Mile.
Grade 1 winning 4-year-old.
Maximum Security takes them all the way in the TVG Pacific Classic.
Secure your mare's future. Maximum Security.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on our FS2 coverage of Saratoga Live on Jim Dandy Saturday. Look at that crowd. Excited to see that showdown of three of the top 3-year-olds in our sport right now. Program brought to you in part by Run Happy, now standing in legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm. And there's the Hall of Famer, the winningest trainer in North American history in our sport. He'll send out Jackie's Warrior, the top sprinter in the country, later in the Vanderbilt. He has Epicenter in that Jim Dandy. Here's what he has left on the afternoon. In addition to those two, he's got Hot Rod Rumble coming up at 6-1, and Hidden Enemy, who's got a bit of a shot in that last race at 12-1.
Yeah, this is a big day for Steve. I think Hot Rod Rumble has a chance. He's favored in both of our stakes today. Yeah, could be a big day for. It's still weird walking by him up here, guys, with the lock showing off. I still double take to make sure it's him. I really
that
do.
Look for so long. Race 5, 6 furlong sprint ahead, and there is Asmussen's 3-year-old Hot Rod Rumble, who was put together back-to-back wins. They came at Aqueduct, and took him 7 starts to break his maiden, and then right back wins in his first try against winners.
Which is tough to do. You know, this horse was consistent, knocking on the door, won by a nose, and you're thinking, okay, he's not much. Midnight Storm, his sire, was actually a great turf horse for Phil Diamato, but this was an impressive effort. Now they've given this horse some time. Tyler Gaffalione and Steve Aspen, Big A, not without a shot.
He's really turned the corner, guys, since he's turned 3. You look at the race, first off, the layoff as a 3-year-old. He got caught in a pace that completely incinerated. They went 45-1 in the middle of winter at Aqueduct, and then he backed it up by consistently getting better in his next 2. I think this horse was entered in the Mike Lee New York Bred Stakes race, and obviously scratched out of there because we haven't seen him since April now, but a little time to mature, gets Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle. Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about this horse. He brings consistency in a race where a lot of these horses just haven't shown consistency in a very long time.
10 minutes to post here in the 5th. Let's go to Mig.
Yeah, guys, you tell you, big buzz in the paddock, big crowd outside the paddock, but certainly here in the paddock as well. And we'll start going with the 3, Hot Rod Rumble, Steve Asmussen's trainee. I mean, horse could not be better turned out. His coat is just absolutely rich and hydrated, resplendent, as all of Steve's horses are. Very well turned out, like what I'm seeing from him. I think Steve's poised to have a very big day. A lot of live runners today. Obviously, Jackie's Warrior, Epicenter, the headliners for him. The 4, Abundson, if I'm saying that correctly. I always have trouble with that name for owner Barry Schwartz, trainer Horatio DePaz. This horse couldn't look any better. I've seen him, and when he's run his best races, he kind of touts himself, and he really, you know, signals his fitness and just how well he's doing. And I'm seeing a horse that's doing as well as the hands can make him. He's a horse that's versatile. He can drop off the pace if need be, but he also can be up close if they don't go too fast. And I think Abendson's going to run his A race today. His A race would put him firmly in the picture here. Horse a big price coming off of a very game victory when he was riding a strong inside bias. Is a 6 quick flash. Natalia Lynch does a great job. She hosed this horse down. We want to see horses get a bit of a sweat on today, but sometimes you'll see horses that are, you know, dripping wet. It's because they get hosed. There's a hose when they first come in the paddock, keep their body temperature down. So this horse got hosed off, looks terrific, making a really nice impression. And then the 7, Big Bobby, a horse that is like a genuine kind of bicycle horse, if you will. If you're not pedaling, he's not running. Junior Alvarado knows him well. Spoke with his owner, Tom Gallo, and he said, yeah, we're glad to have Junior back because he knows he has to put this horse into a long, sustained drive. If you're not asking, he's not giving, guys.
Thanks, Mick. This 7 horse, interesting runner, and he is taking money 5-1. I think part of that is because who he's been working with in the morning, very talented sprinter who we saw spring one of the big early upsets of this meet, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, you know, if you just take his last race and draw the proverbial line through it, you can make a case for him. Right, you throw out the slot back on New Year's Day. His fast track races make him a player. He's run well here in Saratoga in the past. The problem is, I don't have any real excuse, guys, for that last effort. He didn't run 2 steps that day, and it was his first start in 5.5 months. I know he's taking money now, and I would imagine a lot of people are just drawing that line through the last race, but it's kind of hard for me to do in a race where you can make a case for a handful of horses, and now they're not even giving you a decent price on him. He's half his morning line at 5-1 right now.
He's been running pretty consistent, though, Paul, and he has one race that would, if you just took that one race alone, a few starts back, he would be a heavy favorite in here.
Yeah, I guess so. The thing is going to be, there's going to be some pace from the inside here. The 1's pretty quick, Bank on Shea. Flying Emperor is very, very quick. Hot Rod Rumble, probably going to be fresh, probably be on the pace. The 10 was Scratcher. That would have been even more pace in here. The 6 Quick Flash is in very good form and likes to be up on the pace, ding-donging. So Bronx Bomber, to me, is a horse that I would think Irad might take off the pace. Has had success maybe off the pace. But the one win that you see on the page is Gate to Wire. So who's going to launch, or is the speed going to hold on here? It's going to be very interesting what happens early in this race, because I see a lot of speed on paper.
Join Naira Bets today. You can play all the action on our program and more and get a $25 free play in the process as well. Use that promo code SPA25. So SPA25 to get that $25 free play in your account. Go to NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app. That one horse in the background, I talked about the 7 working well with stablemate Baby Yoda. This horse, Bank on Shea, actually beat Baby Yoda, who's a very good sprinter. He did that this year at Tampa.
You look at this horse's PPs, right, Greg? Paul, Speaker's Corner, New York Traffic, Lobster, Mind Control.
What do you think
Baby
now?
Yoda.
Very good.
What do you
Beat
think
him.
now?
Yeah.
And now, no offense to the 8 horses he's facing today. None of that in here. There's none of that in here. So this horse, if you're a multi, and I know the 3 of us sitting on this desk right now are multi-race players, you leave this horse out at your own peril.
You look at that, and that alone almost makes him the horse to beat in here. He's a multiple stakes winner. What happened, though, last start?
That's the thing. You don't know. But the horse didn't break well. It was like sort of flat-footed, and they went very, very fast early. Now, he can go fast. And you look, he's been in some good barns, but JT Services had this horse before, and back-to-back wins, won the affirmed Gate to Wire. But he has that one race at Tampa that intrigues you the most. When he got left, he was able to win with Irad aboard in the Pelican. Can he win from off the pace? You see the 2's getting a little frisky, and you would expect that out of the 2, because this horse is going to be probably your pace setter. All you see is 1s.
He's an interesting horse. Coming in from Finger Lakes, does he fit? The horse who beat him last start, and he's won 6 of his 14 starts. That horse, Dr. Blarney, 26-time winner, and he's won stakes races at 4 different racetracks.
Dr. Blarney's one of the coolest horses in training. He's been doing it for an awful long time for Joe DeRico and crew. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, that horse. Listen, we talked about it a little bit with Hot Rod Rumble, how the field lacks consistency. Well, this is Mr. Consistency right here. He's also a little bit of a bad actor. He's still acting up a little bit. 14 starts, 6 wins, and 8 second-place finishes. He's never been out of the exacta in a 14-race career that spans 3 seasons. In a race where there is not a lot of consistency, Paul, you said there's some speed in here. He could be the speed of the speed.
100%. I'm with you.
And how many times do you see the speed of the speed just keep on going?
You're right. I mean, gosh. You can't get over that record. It's just awesome to look at, isn't it? 14 for 14 in the exacta, and been in wicked pace duels, 21-4, gone on with it. Been in slower duels, has rated a couple times. That was 5 furlongs, but yeah, this is going to be interesting the first quarter of a mile, because the 2 could be the speed of the speed in here, and at 9-1, if you like, they're going to all be playing catch up.
Meanwhile, that's a look at the 6 Quick Flash. 15-1, second biggest price on the board, and you look and say, oh, this horse is overmatched. A win last time out against New York bred other than Allowance. You know, I look at Thoroughgraphs. He's paired up back-to-back numbers that are solid enough that if he can move forward off that, which you usually see when they pair up, puts him right in the mix with these group.
And that's interesting, because the buyer figures have him improving tremendously from his two starts back to his last start. They're for 2 different barns. Tally Lynch claimed this horse 2 back This horse was helped a little bit by the racetrack. This was the first race on Belmont Stakes Day. This horse was helped a little bit by the racetrack and the fact that he got away with a very, very easy opening quarter in 23 seconds flat. They picked things up thereafter. But, yeah, I mean, he's one of a handful of horses in here. He's, whether you like him or not, he's the second longest price on the board off of that last race. That seems to be a bit much for me.
And we got a quick look at that new gem here of Saratoga, those paddock suites. Can we make a show happen at this meet from the paddock suites?
I would be down.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to threaten me with a good time.
Call to post for race 5. And we're going to see here in a moment the 2 to kick things off. And here's the horse. He's never been outside of Finger Lakes, but as consistent as they come.
The most consistent horse in the race. He's hit the board in all 14 of his tries up at Finger Lakes.
Manuel De Diego will be aboard. Big opportunity here at Saratoga. Here's Bank on Shea, the multiple stakes winner.
And maybe my heart is a little bit towards this horse. Bank on Shea. Spent a lot of days at Shea, but likes to win. 5 for 11 lifetime.
Back-to-back wins, as we mentioned, for Steve Asmussen's Hot Rod Rumble.
Yeah, and that could be dangerous because Steve's horses improve and improve with each start.
Here's Amundsen at 7-1.
Former stakes winner is 4 for 10 at the distance and does have a win here at Saratoga. We'll see if he's part of the pace.
Bronx Bomber, he's been favored throughout.
He's got a good record. My issue is he's 1 for 17 the last 2 years.
Quick Flash at 15-1.
Biggest fig of his life last time, first time for Tally Lynch. Another one part of the pace in here. He's way too big a price at 15-1.
Big figures for Big Bobby until that last race when he didn't show up. Again, the one working with Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it's the kind of horse you just don't really know. But if Big Bobby shows up from before at Saratoga, he could win this race.
Rudy Rodriguez still trying to get on the board at the meet.
Had a race on an island back on April 1st, a 96 buyer speed figure, nothing within 15 points since.
And Rudy with big engine as well, reportedly working strong.
I think this is the horse for Rudy that could get him off the duck. If they go very, very quick early, big engine sort of, I thought ran a decent race last time. He's got a couple races from coming off the pace and does have a win here at Saratoga. So I think the 9, way too big of a price at 7-1. I just think everybody's looking at Rudy. Rudy hasn't won a race here, but he's a better trainer than that.
Yeah, that's a big number on that horse. The apprentice Jose Gomez rides. Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund Awareness Day earlier here at the racetrack. Jockey Colony signing autographs for the fans to raise awareness for a tremendous organization that helps these riders when they need it most.
Yeah, and they are funded completely by your donations. There is not a stockpile. There is not. It is all based on donations from the fundraisers they have throughout the year. So if you're out here today, give what you can. Jockey karaoke tomorrow night. Lots going on. The fundraisers throughout the year are a lot of fun, and they like to switch things up a lot.
No one more acutely aware of how important this organization is than Richard Migliore. Let's go to Mig now.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I'm here with Roger Blanco. Roger, 28 years ago, you had your accident and left you paralyzed, but you have been such an inspiration to riders all over the country, the way you've faced your adversity and helped other riders, and the PDJF has been great to you. But talk to us about how important the PDJF is.
Richie, the PDJF is so important for us. A lot of people that donate, they have, an idea what the money goes to, but for us, it means everything. It means, the mortgage. It means car payment. If you have a car payment, it means roof over your head. It means everything, and every little donation helps. We have 60 riders, or 62, I think, that receive money every month. And if it wasn't for that, I would have lost my house. I got divorced. My parents passed, and I ended up with a house by myself and practically no income. When I didn't have insurance when I got my accident. And if it wasn't for the Permanent Disabled Jockey Fund, I would be in the street.
And Roger, you have a son that you put into college as well. Your son, is he still in college, or did he graduate yet?
No, he graduated. He moved to Colorado right now. I forced him to move there. He got a good job. He's a great kid. His mother helped a lot. And if it wasn't for her help and the Permanent Disabled Jockey Fund, those things wouldn't have been done. It means, for me, it means everything. And like me, many of other riders that are on the wheelchair, we depend on that. And we depend on the kindness of the people that come out, they donate, and they help. Every time we have an event, it gets better and better. And we have no words to appreciate what they do for us.
Well, Roger, there's no words to really express to you how brave I know you are and what an inspiration you've been to everybody. And for everybody out there, the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund is just so important, and help all you can to take care of these riders that have given so much.
Critical for these riders who it's not a matter of if but when you'll get injured. If you're a jockey in this sport, as Mig well knows, do what you can. If you have a good day at the racetrack, any little bit helps. Go to pdjf.org and you can contribute.
Please, yes. Like Big A was saying, we got the karaoke tomorrow night. There's so many different ways you can donate. And
if you've not been to that, by the way, that's one of the great times up here at Saratoga.
It's great. The jockeys make a good thing of it. I think one year they did the Backstreet Boys. Oh my God, Mike Smith was in the back. I couldn't stop laughing. It was great.
They do a lot of fun. They had a really good halftime act 3 years ago as well.
By the way, guys,
you're sitting next to the real Slim Shady boy.
You
know that, right?
I know.
I was there for it, Big A. Look who's become the favorite. Bank on Shea from that inside post. Now the 3-1 favorite in this fifth from Saratoga. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial with the call.
They're in the gate. And they're off, and they all came away to a good beginning with Bronx Bomber up there along with Hot Rod Rumble. Amundsen now moves on through. Hot Rod Rumble and Amundsen and their heads apart. Bronx Bomber is right alongside as they move up the backstretch. And it is Hot Rod Rumble by a head over Amundsen. Bank on Shea is down at the rail. Flying Emperor's in between horses up into fourth. Then comes Quick Flash in fifth. Bronx Bomber is now back running in sixth. Then comes Big Bobby in seventh, followed at the back by Masked Marauder and Big Engine. The quarter went in 22 1/5 seconds as the field races around the far turn. And Amundsen on the outside has now grabbed the lead from Hot Rod Rumble. Quick Flash, the Grays on the outside. Bank on Shea towards the rail. Then Flying Emperor and Bronx Bomber. The half went in 45 seconds. And it is Amundsen with a 2.5 length lead. Bronx Bomber on the outside. Then Quick Flash. Hot Rod Rumble is back running in fourth. And it is Amundsen in front as they come down for the wire. Amundsen in front under Manny Franco. Won by 3.5 lengths. Quick Flash was second. A photo for third between the late closing Big Bobby and Bronx Bomber.
Amundsen, Horatio de Paz trains, Manny Franco rides, picks up the 7th win of his career.
Race was over, I'd say about a quarter of a mile out of the gate when the 1, 2, and 3 didn't show up, and he cleared the field. Big A, and I told you, I looked at you, I'm like, how are they going to beat this horse?
Well, he was dealing with Hot Rod Rumble, who actually made the lead just for a little while.
Bit, yeah.
And then Manny was it, and Manny's just riding so well and so aggressive. And that was the key to this horse today. He's the back class. He's the former multiple New York Bred Stakes winner. Get him in the game early. Like you said, Paul, a couple of the other speeds didn't materialize. It was just him and Hot Rod Rumble, who was coming off the freshening and the recency, and the back class get the job done. That's a heck of a price on this horse, too, at 6-1.
And a good call by you, Wolfie. I know you like the 6 Quick Flash at 16-1. I ran a giant second. I mean, because he was up against it in the pace. You got a horse like Amundsen who's got a lot of bottom and can finish. Quick Flash, again, shows that he's in really, really good form here. And the 7, Big Bobby, just needed a little bit more ground. He was rolling late, but he needs a little bit more ground.
Bronx Bomber made a little bit of a middle move as well, but kind of flattened to nowhere to finish fourth.
4-6-7-5, Amundsen. We talked about consistency in this group, and one of the more consistent runners, Amundsen, picks up another win. 7th time he's won in 20 career starts. We'll have the prices for you when we come back, and we'll get into the Pick 6 on Jim Dandy Day right after this.
The level of racing that he's achieved is extremely rare. The quality fields that he's beat. That's what makes him the fastest horse in the world.
The final time was a new stakes record. Matoli, he did it again! Matoli's a monster! Matoli wins the sprint! Oh, what a horse he is! The mighty Matoli!
Aurelia down the centre in the white and green colours is going away at the end.
Rachel's Valentina Ratzener and takes the lead.
Back on Saratoga Live on FS2. Great crowd on hand. I was going to say future fans of the sport, but they're current here right now, getting up close and personal with the horses in the paddock. Program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. My little guy coming out to the racetrack today as well.
Oh, a little Willie Wolf. Still the best name out there in the
I
world.
like that name. That's good, Paul.
W squared. That's what I'm going to be. That's what I'm going to call him. But going in the world, I got to give Mig credit too, because he said Admonson was going to run his race, and he did today. 14:40 on top.
Winner's Circle lead-in brought to you by the 101st Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale, offering the best of the North American yearling crop on August 8th and 9th. Where will you be? $14.40 for the victory. For Amundsen, pick 5, 51,000 plus. Let's go to Mig.
Thanks, Greg. Here with Horatio DePaz, trainer of Admonson. Good speed today. He was very sharp.
Yeah, I told Manny just kind of play the break. I know he's been coming off the pace in certain races, and I just didn't want to give him too much instructions. Just let him, see what happens in the race.
He always seems like a horse that kind of touts himself. When he's really on, you can tell by his coat, the way he is on his toes in the paddock, he looked like a winner to me.
Yeah, he's been doing well. He shipped up here to Saratoga and seems to like Saratoga, so he wins up here. So.
This is a homebred for owner Barry Schwartz. I bred at his Stonewall farm. What's it like having a steady supply of horses that, are homebreds? And I'm sure now you're starting to see some similarities with the families.
Yeah, it's good because you get to know their personalities a bit. Mike Hushin trained the mare too, so always get some input from him as far as how the mare was. So it's good.
And Barry wasn't here today, but have you talked to the boss yet?
Not yet. I'll give him a call here shortly.
Okay, well, we'll give him a shout out right now. Congratulations, Barry. We wish you were here to enjoy this, but Admonson certainly ran big today, guys.
Barry, of course, Barry Schwartz, who has had such a big impact on the sport, certainly here on the East Coast, and has had a lot of good runners, including one of my favorites.
Who's your favorite?
Voodoo.
Oh, Voodoo Dancer, who went 5 times here or 4 times in that meet?
4 times in one summer, right?
Horatio DePaz doesn't look like
Voodoo
he has
song,
a word.
yeah.
He's pretty cool as a cucumber, isn't he, Horatio?
Excellent horseman.
Oh, yeah,
excellent.
very
Good dude. I spend a lot of time with him in the winter in the Horseman's Lounge at Aqueduct.
Yeah.
In between gigs, and yeah, he's good dude. Really knows his stuff, and good horseman. I love having a conversation with him, talking horses.
I love his demeanor, because guys with demeanor like that, they pass that on to their horses. You know, you don't want to. It's just like a coach. You don't want your coach sweating bullets because you end up sweating bullets. You know, you want to have that calm sort of.
the barn calm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you didn't happen to have that $51,000 pick 5, that's okay because we have the pick 6 coming up next in this race right here. Mile and a 16th. It's on the inner turf here. First allowance condition race. Marvelous Mod, Chad Brown, the 8-5 favorite.
How about 162,000 in the pick 6 pool already? There's 20 minutes to post. I'm a little surprised. Marvelous Mod. I mean, I sound ridiculous saying that. I'm surprised that Chad Brown and Ortiz Jr. are the favorite, but this is her first start against Open Company, and Paul, I wonder, you know, I know she was good last time, but she's making it's still a big step. The program's come so far, but it's still a big step from the state breds to the Open Company first time.
Yeah, what Anthony's saying basically is going from the New York breds to Open breds here, and you're getting a lot of different horses in here. You got Blissful in here, the 5 for Cherie DeVoe, who ran actually very, very well in her second career start.
Ensemble's going to take a lot of money for Brendan Walsh, the 9.
I think Marvelous Maid, you just look at her and you see she's never missed a board, and she's by Slumber. Slumber, I think, won a race at 80-1 at one time in his career.
Well, Donner going to try and do it here at 8-5 coming up. A lot of families out enjoying the racetrack here. It's going to be me in a little bit. Next 3-year-old star for Chad Brown. Potentially, we've been talking so much about his Preakness winner and his Derby 3rd place finisher. How about Artorias and what he produced in the 3rd start of his career in the Curlin yesterday? And it looks like it's on to the Travers.
Quality Road, proving Lane's End's tried and true stallion making tradition, a tradition that leads to success for our partners and our stallions. Quality Road has sired multiple Eclipse Award and Grade 1 winners, including champion 2-year-old colt Corniche, champion 2-year-old filly Caledonia Road, champion 3-year-old filly Abel Tasman, and multiple Grade 1 winner City of Light. He's a leader of his generation. Quality Road, a stallion that stands above the rest.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Nairo Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Nairo Bets.
Global Campaign by 2, and Global Campaign will win the Grade 1 Woodward. It is Global Campaign holding on to the lead. Global Campaign won the Peter Pan.
Monmouth Park's 50-cent win early pick 5 is one of the country's earliest pick 5s, making it the perfect way to get your wagering day started. With a 12:15 post on weekends and 2 p.m. start on Fridays, the win early pick 5 is home to 6-figure pools and a low 15% takeout. Start your day winning early. Play Monmouth Park's win early pick 5. Win early, win often.
We're back on Saratoga Live on Jim Dandy Saturday. Final prep for the Run Happy Travers. It's brought to you in part by Hill and Dale at Alapa. And star of their stallion roster, Curlin. We ran the Curlin Stakes yesterday. And how about this lightly raced 3-year-old for Chad Brown, coming off a maiden win, taking the Curlin with a 95 buyer speed figure.
How about this ride by Ortiz Jr. With the scratch, he moves into post 8, but still a tough draw with that first turn hitting you right in the face in the 1.8. He gets immediately over and is able to save a bunch of ground, and it was really, really good to save that ground. It might not have mattered. This horse galloped yesterday and adds to the riches in the Chad Brown barn when it comes to the 3-year-olds. He's a big factor now in the Run Happy Travers in 4 weeks. off this big victory. This is just his third start, guys. First around 2 turns, first going 9 furlongs. Sky's the limit, 95 by our speed figure yesterday as well.
We all know what his dad did. 13.5 length Travers win.
Yeah.
Quickest time in the history of that race.
And Mama could run too. Mama really could run in Paul's Silver Lining. So the pedigree on this, you know, Mama could run. She won a lot of races as a sprinter.
Multiple Grade 1 winners.
Oh, so and then you got Arrowgate, who we lost way too early, and then we're starting to realize now, okay, his horses can run. So the perfect cross here too of a horse that could be, like Big A said, there's a big sky.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Lightly raced, so much room for improvement, but that's a tall order going to the Travers 4-star of your career off that, isn't it?
No question, but you have to like the way he has already handled the incremental distance improvement, you know, stretching out in distance, the way he has improved with every start. Talent as well. I mean, he has just gotten better, and he's done something. He's shown that he's able to save ground and still come with a potent rally. Yes. That's important for a young horse, more importantly, in his instance, a lightly raced horse.
So, likely on to the run-happy Travers for Arturius, and this who's going to be waiting for him. Maybe most of this group in the Grade 2 Jim Dandy at 1 1/8. Let's take a look at the field that will line up runner-up in both the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness for Steve Asmus and Epicenter.
I mean, what can you say? This horse, like you said, Greg, second in 2 of our classics, impressive all winter long down the bayou at fairgrounds. He has tactical speed. He can come from off the pace. He's as versatile as they come.
Tawny Port is really the other horse that no one's talking about in this group because of the big 3 for Brad Cox. 2 of his last 3 starts, he's won Grade 3s.
Yeah, this place is called the Graveyard of Favorites, but this horse isn't really that far behind. If you look, he was only 3 or 4 lengths behind Epicenter and Zandon in the Derby, so he's not a complete rank outsider at all.
Meanwhile, the Preakness champ, not only did he win the Preakness, and it was the 4th start of his career, he did it showing he's not a need-to-lead type.
And Chad Brown told people he thinks this horse would be more potent coming from off the pace. He was 100% correct. He was able to rate last time. If Joel Rosario and Epicenter have any ideas on taking the lead today, I don't think Jose Ortiz in early voting would have any problem with it.
And Zandon for the same barn, 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. He was the Grade 1 Bluegrass winner coming into that first Saturday in May.
Looks like he wants to have a stare-off with you. He means business, and I'll tell you what, his Bluegrass win was dominating, and when you got a wheel back in the Kentucky Derby after the Bluegrass, I thought he ran sensational. Epicenter's gotten the best of him a couple times. Can he turn the tables on him? One time Epicenter beat him on the square, one time Zandon didn't break well. It's going to be very interesting where they sit in this race. I cannot wait to see what happens.
There's Chad Brown. He'll have 2 in the Dandy. He's got Arturius, who won the Curlin yesterday. He's got the favorite coming up. And say what you want. I mean, what he thought about early voting, that was a gutsy move to try new tactics in the Preakness, and it paid off. Marvelous Maud for Chad Brown. The 8-5 favorite will have the post parade for the start of the Pick 6 when we come back here on Saratoga Live.
A Grade 1 winner of nearly $2 million, Silver State hails from the sire line of legendary Claiborne stallion Danzig. And his second dam is full sister to Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos. After winning the Oaklawn Handicap, Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. On the board in 12 of 14 starts from ages 2 to 4, his career included a 6-race winning streak. Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do you become the gold standard in racing partnerships? One horse, one partner, one victory at a time. Congratulations to all our partners who have made West Point the gold standard for the last 3 decades.
Saratoga, the best place in New York. Let's go.
Downtown action, Saratoga Springs. Got to hit up Broadway and all the hot spots around town after any day at the racetrack when you come here. And the fun will continue, and you'll probably see a lot of the friends you made at the track when you go out.
100% true. There's so many iconic places in here, and like I said, you guys can tell that my voice has gotten way better because I drank that mineral water that Wolfie loves so much down there.
It's pungent.
I'll tell you guys right now, I'll start picking some winners. I'm going to be out on Broadway with my harmonica.
Let's go to Mig.
All right, guys. Let's start with your favorite down on the inside, the one, Marvelous Maud. She was another one, got hosed off when she came here into the paddock. So, yes, she was dripping water, but it was hose water, not sweat, something that you should keep an eye on. Very well drawn inside, inner turf, full field. Got to get some position, but should be able to find that coveted pocket position under Irad Ortiz Jr. The three finest work, 2 for 2 since joining the George Weaver barn. Both going 7 furlongs. I think she'll handle the mile and 16th just fine. From a physical perspective, I like what I'm seeing from her, and I do think distance won't be an issue. The 5-horse, Blissful. This horse has had some issues getting out of the gate. She won despite that at Saratoga here last summer. She ran at Canterbury last time and finished with a flourish after, again, some gate woes. This is a classy filly. She's handling herself beautifully here in the paddock, and I think she could take a big step forward. The 8, Malibu Curl, trying the turf for the first time for Tommy Albatrani. She definitely has the confirmation that says turf should help her, should maybe find her best foot. And speaking of feet, she got that wider, flatter foot that you equate with a turf horse. Talked to Tommy Albatrani about her. He said she's just doing really, really well since she's been here. And last year she did break her maiden up here in Saratoga, albeit on the dirt. And then the 9, Ensemble, really settled in nicely. Was on her toes, put the tack on her, rider got up, it's Tyler Gaffalione, and she just really settled in nicely. If she can work out a trip from the outside, she's coming out of a pretty fast race at Keeneland. I think she could very well be the horse to beat.
All right, Mig, thank you. We're going to get to our post parade here in a moment, approaching the 5-minute mark to post, as we have the cross-country pick 5 coming up soon. 4:40 Eastern start time. Anthony?
Yes?
What do you think?
I think we got a ticket up over at NairaBets.com. We're going to spread in the maiden race. We're going to go single. Jackie's Warrior early voting. And then a little spread job in the Ellis Park, other Ellis Park race. And then we're going to spread in the last race. The Todd Fletcher on the number 10 in the 10th race could be any kind, but Capensis is saddled to that outside post 12.
The 12 horse.
Yeah, the 12. That's a tough draw up here, so we'll do a little bit of a spread and hope for the best.
$2 million horse that debuted on grass.
I know,
but
right?
ran huge.
Yeah, did run big. You're right.
We start with the 8-5 favorite for our pick 6 post right here. Marvelous Maud for Chad Brown.
Yeah, the one to beat off paper. 3 for 7 lifetime, and she's been the favorite 5 of her 7 starts.
17-1 on Missy Greer next door.
Hasn't seen the turf since last fall. In between, she got the job done in the maiden race 2 back and tried the Black-Eyed Susan thereafter.
Joel Rosario on finest work, trying to make it 3 straight wins.
Yeah, Flavian Pratt was aboard those 2 wins. Now he's on the 6th today, Wicked Groove.
Lenny Kate, big number, comes in off a win.
Got the job done against starter allowance foes at almost 8-1. She's a much bigger price against much tougher today.
Intriguing runner here for former Chad Brown assistant Cherie DeVoe.
Yeah, this horse was ridden by Vincent Chaminade last time and ducked out really bad. It said ducked in, but ducked out, did not get a good start, but came flying home. Very, very talented filly.
This horse was just third to high opinion. It would probably be a heavy favorite in here.
Yeah, that's Wicked Groove. She's been a private purchase since with some sharp connections, goes first-time actress.
Lady Emily at 16-1, Junior Alvarado rides.
Yeah, you get a horse that's won 2 in a row on synthetic. Can she transfer it to the turf today?
Turf debut, Malibu Curl.
Blinkers come off with his daughter of Curlin, who tried him the last 2 starts. 4th start off of a June layoff. We'll see if the turf is to her liking.
Little cool on the board. Ensemble for Brennan Walsh.
Yeah, this is a horse that's the one win was on a synthetic racetrack in Lingfield over in Great Britain. So has not won on turf, but the turf debut was not bad. You get Tyler Gaffalione, another horse that Pratt rode. So if you're reading the jockey sort of game, in which I hate to do, Flavian rode a couple horses in here, and he lands on the 6th, Wicked Groove, so maybe that's the live horse in here.
Look at this crowd, just tremendous. And it's a big weekend. We still have our 2 biggest weekends to come at the meet.
This is my favorite weekend of the year up here. I love Jim Dandy weekend. A little bit of a preview for the Run Happy Travers weekend, right? And the end of the meet. Great crowd. It's, the August place to be. It's your summer place now, but the August place to be is right around the corner. And take a listen, folks. When we spring the latch, before Johnny I gives you right after he gives you the and they're off, this place erupts with each and every gate break today. It's a cool feeling, especially if you're here on site.
Those grandstands, you hear the creaking and shaking a little bit with this kind of crowd on hand. Here's the big favorite. So 7-5, Marvelous Maud, New York bred, who will be tackling open company for the first time in her career.
And she got a great setup in her last race, but she did what she had to do. And I like that she opened up the 3 lengths, and you think maybe, okay, it's an early move, Big A, but she just kept on going.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up, Paul, because it's going to 9 furlongs for the first time as well. I love when horses make the lead this early in these races and continue to draw away. Right? She's running through the wires, like what we like to say. There's no let up here. And I wonder if this hurts her cause today, that she has to cut back a 1/16 of a mile while she steps up in class. Distance may very well be her friend. She has to give a little of it back today while taking on arguably the toughest field she's ever faced so far in her 7 prior starts.
Well, no question, but not scaring the public away. Fact that it will be the toughest field, and the fact she is a New York bred. Here's a look at the 6. Wicked Groove. We talked about who she faced last time out. High Opinion would, no question, be a heavy favorite in this race.
Yeah.
She just ran 3rd to her in a stake at Parks.
Well, this filly's in good form. 3rd in this race you're seeing here. She was coming off a layoff since February where she had won at Tampa. She had run okay at Gulfstream on the synthetic. She run well at the Meadowlands. It really doesn't matter what she runs on. It's like she can run on concrete and she'll run well. And she likes to win races. And you're right, this was kind of a loaded race, and I think she's the sneaky horse of this group.
Off the board just 1 time in 8 turf tries. She's won half of those starts. She's never missed the board at the mile and a 16th distance. Yeah, she makes some sense. If you're looking for a little bit, we like to call them a fuzzy. If you're looking for a little bit of a fuzzy in here, at 5-1, she's certainly the one you'd want to look at.
I think Blissful might be, at the end of the day, the most talented, the 5. But does she have enough experience to beat a horse like the 1?
Are you surprised? I'm stunned that Blissful is this price. I thought she'd be a lot shorter today. Really? I thought she'd be 5-2 off the last race, a little stakes faced. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this.
There she is. Luis Saez will ride. Let's go to Mig for more.
Yeah, guys, listen, I have no false illusions. The 1 horse, Marvelous Maud, is going to be tough to beat, and she projects to get a good trip from the inside. But I'm a little more interested in the 5, Blissful. I think this filly has a world of ability. She's been her own worst enemy, not getting out of the gate in good order, but maybe, just with experience, she'll learn to do it a little bit better. I like her a lot, but I'm going to swing for the fences with the 8, Malibu Curl. From a physical perspective, I really believe this filly is going to excel on the turf. She ran well up here. I think she tipped her hand and she had ability, and maybe she just always wanted this surface change. The fact that she's doing so well, speaking with Tom Albatrani, I'd be very surprised if she does not take very well to the turf, and we've seen some big prices today. I'm kind of hoping we're going to continue with that theme. I'm all about the 8, Malibu Curl.
All right, Mig, that would be a big one to start off a pick 6 here at 21-1.
Stabile off. Stabile was on this one the last 2. Stabile off. That's been a key angle here in Saratoga so far, fellas. I'll tell you that right now.
That's why this is no question the most competitive meet in the country. It's also the most difficult to try and put together winning combination tickets.
It is because, when you look at this race, you have the 3 finest work at 8-1. Horse won 2 in a row. The 2, Missy Greer, first time out, ran a bang-up race on the turf, possesses a ton of speed at 19-1. And you're getting Danny Gargan. You're getting a legit. That's the one thing that's great about Saratoga. You're getting a legit horse that could win this race at 19-1 with Danny Gargan. I'm telling you.
You have horses coming off wins, right? And I know it was against Lesser. Linny Cade off a win, 30-1. The 7, Lady Emily, off 2 wins, albeit on synthetic, 22-1. These horses, are they overmatched a little bit in here on paper? Yeah, a little bit, but they're still, coming in off wins, and you see such a big tote board. This favoritism for Marvelous Maud is not only strong in the win pool, guys, but the multi-race wages as well. She is bet off the board, I think Blissful has some blue sky, and I thought her win, I think it's important to note that it was here at Saratoga last year, her maiden win, and then last time out,
it was a brutal start for her.
Brutal start, tough draw. She worked out a good trip after. She gets one of the best in the business. Last year's leading rider, Louis Saez, back in the boot today. I think that's a juicy. I took some of that 3-1.
Yeah, she had the far outside post.
We did that night at Canterbury at America's Day at the races. Those races were loaded with Mike Maker, Brad Cox horses. So she ran against a good field that day.
She is 3-1 right now. Second choice on the board, the 5 filly for former Chad Brown assistant Cherie DeVoe. It is her boss, her former boss, who has the favorite at 7-5. It does have the inside post in here. Marvelous Maud, still questions to be answered. New York bred, first time in against Open Company. For this 4-year-old filly from that inside post, we're set for the pick 6. 482,000 in that pool and growing here in the final moments. We go upstairs. John Imbrial, the call.
Waiting for Lenny Kate, Malibu Curl, and Ensemble. They're all in line. And they're off. And it is Missy Greer and Finest Work. Down on the inside is a Marvelous Maud. Now ranging up, there goes Ensemble, along with Malibu Curl. Missy Greer is the leader. Ensemble, Malibu Curl, and Finest Work. Those three are all together. Then the favorite, Marvelous Maud on the inside, racing in 5th. Wicked Groove is alongside in 6th. Oh, blowing the turn there, blowing the turn at the back of the pack is number 4, Lenny Kate. Lenny Kate is the trailer. The leader is Missy Greer by a length. Ensemble is second. Malibu Curl runs in 3rd. And then comes Finest Work next in 4th. The quarter went in 25 seconds. Missy Greer, Ensemble, they are 1-2 with Malibu Curl in 3rd. In between horses is Finest Work in 4th, and alongside is Wicked Groove in 5th. And then it is Marvelous Maud, who's in 6th, about 7 lengths from the front. On her outside is a Lady Emily, and then farther back is a Blissful and Lenny Kate. The half mile in 49 4/5 seconds. Missy Greer takes the field into the far turn. Missy Greer by 2. Ensemble is in 2nd. Malibu Curl runs in 3rd. Wicked Groove's on the outside in 4th. And the move by Wicked Groove is followed now by Marvelous Maud, who will be widest of all as they turn for home, with Missy Greer still the leader. On the far outside is a Marvelous Maud. Finest Work now looks to come on through. On the outside, here is Marvelous Maud now, who has taken the lead. Wicked Groove is right there. They're coming on for the finish. It is Marvelous Maud who will win it. Finest Work got up for 2nd. Then Missy Greer and Wicked Groove.
Marvelous Maud closing late under Arad Ortiz Jr. for Chad Brown to get this win as the favorite.
This gets tight late here, Big A. I don't know if the 2 came out or what, but I'll tell you what, kudos to the winner. He had to go really, really right. Irad, he had to ask early. And Joel Rosario with the 3, I thought was dead in the doornail, but Joel's never dead. He's threading in between horses right here with the red cap, Big A, and it starts getting tight here late.
Yeah, you know, I think it was just a little race ride in there late. Looks like, if anything,
the 2 came out, maybe?
The 2 was coming out. Missy Greer getting a little tired late in the game here. Maybe we'll see a blink. I got to tell you this, though. At no point did you feel comfortable if you took 7-5 on Marvelous Maud in this race?
No.
0.
Because
0 points.
Because right here, if the 3 does not stop, well, we'll show you the shot, but we see in Chad
the
going
whole
down
family
with Bradley Weisberg, and hopefully he heals up pretty soon.
Ava and Andy are here. Patty and Jerry are here. His kids and his parents.
So right here, if the 3 gets through this hole, Greg, the 3 wins the race. Well, he has to stop right here for a split second.
Yeah. He got held. It was a pause almost.
Inquiry sign posted, by the way, with the 3rd and 4th place finishers.
Yeah, that looked about right. It looked like Missy Greer was getting a little tired late in the game after setting the pace, and was just kind of got the wobbles and the drifts a little bit, as I like to say, right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a better look, but
we're gonna get a better look here now.
6.
Yeah, so now look at the horse on the rail with the red cap. The 2 is going to come out here when left-handed urging right here into the 6, and the 6 abruptly had to pull up. So yeah, I mean, obviously you had to take a look at it. Some people probably thought maybe the 1 may have came in, but the 1 I think is clear completely.
But the way Marvelous Maud just kept coming, these horses find a way to get to the winner's circle first, to get to the wire first. They get to the winner's circle after. They get to the wire first. It's uncanny how they just find a way to get there.
Marvelous Maud, your favorite, your winner, but Mig, Inquiry with the 3rd and 4th place finishers.
Stretch run. I thought the 2 horse, at least first appearance to me, well, there was a little crowding from the outside where the 6 kind of caused it, and then the 2 came out. But at the point that, right in here, the 2 really caused it late, didn't he? The 6 started to kind of force the 3 towards the rail, but the 2 at the point of contact was the 1 coming out, and I believe caused the issue. If there's anything, the 2 caused the problem here.
Yeah, that head on very damning for the 2. Kendra Carmouche and Missy Greer looked like came out a clear path to take away ground from the 6.
Well, like Anthony said, she was running the race. I thought she was going to be in the front end and taking a shot, and I thought maybe they might not run her down. But she just got a little tired, and when he hit her with the crop left-handed, she just responded and just lugged out into the path of the 6. So I don't think it's going to be that tough of a call, but I think she might be just placed 4th.
Yeah. All right, we will keep you posted as we head to break. Does not involve your winner, though. Marvelous Maud, 7-5. That victory will be upheld. Meet leading, adding to that number, 19th win for Arad Ortiz Jr. When we come back, we'll talk 2-year-old champion, Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, Corniche, set to make his return on Sunday for the new barn. Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher. We'll see him in the Amsterdam on Sunday. Stay with us.
Introducing a stallion as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
If you're looking into racing partnerships, you should know they're not all the same. When you partner with Bond Racing Stables, you become a member of a growing family of racing enthusiasts, all guided by 3 generations of experience in thoroughbred breeding, training, and racing. Sharing the excitement at Saratoga and Belmont Park, where we've graced a winner's circle with winners like Giacosa, who was bred, born, and raised here at our Song Hill farm. Get more than just a partnership. Become a member of the Bond Racing family. 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
Every hair, every muscle, every contour, every pulse. In the juvenile,
Essential Quality has won.
In the Belmont,
Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
well named.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back on Saratoga Live, program brought to you where you can play all the action this summer and beyond. Naira Bets. Get signed up at NairaBets.com. Use the Naira Bets app. and play along with us from home. Marvelous Mod gets the win. We just heard news as well in terms of that inquiry involving the third and fourth place finishers. There was no change made, so that result 1-3-2-6 that stands. Let's go to Mig.
Well, before I start talking IRAD, I sure wish I was riding in this era. It would have saved me a lot of disqualifications. But IRAD, Marvelous Mod, a Philly you're obviously very, very familiar with. You were just so confident. You were sitting quiet, got to save all the ground before you got her in the clear.
Honestly, that's the feel that she gives me all the time I ride her. She's a nice filly. She always show up, and I know her very well. And Chuck give me the confidence. He let me do whatever I want to do out there. He just told me safe ground and work it out perfect. I tip him out in the stretch, and she do the rest.
Well, you are teamed up with Chad a lot, but not today. You're on New York traffic in the Amsterdam. And how can you beat? How in your mind do you see yourself beating Jackie's Warrior?
I mean, I hope somebody go with him, honestly. I hope somebody go with him. He's a nice horse. He's tough to beat all the time. He always show up. He's been in this track before. He wins here. He's a great horse, honestly, but it's nothing. Anything can happen on a race. You know, if we are in the gate, we got a chance. So we got a good chance. My trainer, Safi, do a great job with the horses. I've been riding New York traffic before, and he always show up. He always give me everything he has. So stay positive. I know my horse can get there. If something, I mean, speed duo, I mean, fight early, somebody fight with him, I can get there for sure.
Okay, and Tawny Port, tough race, but you just won the Ohio Derby on him. What kind of trip you looking for?
I mean, these horse, I look like they got a little more speed than me. Early voting, Sandon got the clears. Maybe gonna be forwardly placed. Epicenter showed some speed before. I'm the only one maybe come from off the pace. My horse is improving race by race, honestly. Kentucky Derby was a great race after that from the Ohio, and he do everything right. He has some room to improve, I think. That's the way I see the horse, and his training is super good, so hopefully we get lucky.
All right, thank you for taking the time. Best of luck later. Guys, I can feel the positive energy coming off him. Leave him out at your own peril.
It's amazing, that young man's competitive fire and how he can move a horse up.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. And I call him, he's got the Kobe Bryant, as Kobe will rest in peace. He's got the Kobe Bryant mentality. He has to step on your throat. I don't care. I'm going to win this race. And you need that when you're at this elite level that he's at, Anthony, because you're with already 4 or 5 Hall of Fame riders in that room already, and the kid's just fearless.
And the guy he rides for a lot, Chad Brown, is one of the most competitive people I've ever met. So that makes for a very interesting recipe in the before time and the after time when these races are over. But yeah, I mean, Arad just has a fire in him and just so much talent that to go along with it, that it makes him a very dangerous customer.
And that competitive fire, he not only does have it in him, but he shows on the racetrack too. He rides with that aggression.
Well, he showed you right there. He shut off the 4 there. He made it tight for everybody else. He knows what he was doing. He rode the race perfect, corrected his horse. But, you know, the stewards decided to not make a change because they decided that it would not have changed the order of finish. Those are the rules here. So if that was the case, I think they did make the right call, although the 2 did come out abruptly. But Irad made that kind of tight on purpose because he's such a great rider.
7th at Saratoga, started the late pick 5 that most believe is a pick 4 because of Jackie's Warrior in the Vanderbilt. Begins 5.5 furlongs on the turf here in the New York bred maiden special weight. These are the difficult ones to try and handicap. We'll talk more through this field in a moment. Here's what's still ahead on Big Fox later today. 4:30 Eastern start time. Jackie's Warrior in that grade 1 Vanderbilt. And the grade 2 Jim Dandy with maybe the top three 3-year-olds in our sport right now. On Sunday, more tremendous action with our 2-year-old champion returning. Corniche, for the first time since his Breeders' Cup Juvenile win. He was trained by Bob Baffert when he completed a perfect 2-year-old campaign. He now returns for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, and he's undefeated. He'll be sprinting for the first time since Labor Day weekend last year at Del Mar when he broke his maiden. The grade 1 American Pharaoh and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile followed here. Here he is taking that Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He comes back for a new barn. Todd Pletcher, this obviously worked last year, taking one of the top 3-year-olds in Life is Good and transferring to the Hall of Famer here on the East Coast. We'll see what he does. Listen, he's facing a nice bunch of horses tomorrow, and he's facing a good bunch of sprinters. And I think that's important, guys, when you consider the fact that this horse's better races have come going that mile on a 16.
I don't know about that. Look at his debut. He got the best figure he earned going 5.5 in his debut. 98 Beyer first time out.
I like this horse better around a little bit of ground, and I'm curious to see what he does off of that big layoff. Brand new barn, brand new surface. Let's see what he does tomorrow.
The comeback point, and then Todd Pletcher says they'll look at the Alan Jerkins potentially as well, depending on how he does. And now here's who's going to line up against him. Gunite, who was a Grade 1 winner here, back as a 2-year-old for Steve Asmussen. Got back in winning form last time out.
Well, he ran into Conager, who's a very, very nice horse, 2 back, and then he beat Mr. Pranker and Hoist to Gold. He had got a great trip this day. 6-horse field. Okay effort. He's going to have to improve to beat horses like Corniche to me, the Chad Brown runner. I also think Pinehurst is very talented on the rail. I think Gunite's going to have to improve. I get it. He's a Grade 1 winner over this racetrack, but I don't know if he's improved like these other 3-year-old colts have.
We had St. Tappet debut down at Belmont. St. Tappet was pretty impressive down there. Accretive, the Chad Brown Klarovich runner, I think he was the second most impressive runner, and I think he's going to have a big say in the matter tomorrow.
Meanwhile, this horse right here, the impressive first time out for trainer Christophe Clement. That was sprinting on the turf at Belmont, going 6 furlongs. This will be start number 2. Just missed in that debut. Trying to get that maiden win here in start number 2 as we kick off the late pick 5 here on Saratoga Live.
He was just put together like a machine, and he had a great mind. Everything about him was what you'd want.
Tis the Law pops the cork in the champagne. Tis the Law is going to win the first leg of the Triple Crown.
I've never seen him get tired.
Respect the law. Tis the Law.
His structure is just perfect. His bone is perfect.
He's left the others behind. He's going to win the Run Happy Travers.
He's everything you would look for in a horse.
Launch your thoroughbred ownership experience with Flying Partners Racing, a New York and Florida-based racing partnership with winning percentages over 20% at Belmont,
Lone Rock to win,
and 25% at Saratoga in 2021.
Ice Princess.
Limited opportunities available now, with yearling partnerships coming this fall.
It is Tell Your Daddy.
Meet the Flying Partners team at our open house. Visit flyingpartnersracing.com to learn more.
Back on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 on a beautiful Saturday afternoon with a big showdown to come in the 3-year-old division in the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. That's coming up later today on Big Fox, 4:30 Eastern start time. We got some more time for you here on FS2 right now. This 7th race kicks off the late pick 5. 5.5 furlong turf sprint for New York-bred maidens looking for the first win of their career. Let's go to Mig.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I really like what I'm seeing from the one Built to Last. He's speed from the inside, turning back, finally going the shortest distance of his career. 5.5 furlongs could be the Goldilocks effect. 7/8's a little too far. 3/4 just didn't quite make it. 5.5 could be just right. Now I'm going to throw into the superstition part of this. We saw the last race last night. Grace and Willow Morley in the winner's circle. Well, they're here, ready to go racing again and probably getting a picture again. They're here in the paddock to root Dad's horse home. And Dad, Tom Morley, has that same hat on he had last night, dressed nicely. I think they're all looking for a picture with Built to Last, and I do think 5.5 is going to suit him very well. The 5, Mr. Chairman, closed well last time for a maiden claiming tag, but I do think he can take a big step forward off of that effort, and I like what I'm seeing from him, and he gets the best turf sprint rider in the game in Joel Rosario. The 8 horse really caught my eye, and trainer Phil Serpy is 3 for 5 at the meet. His horses are running real well. The 8 Foucault really looks good. Very well turned out. You get Jose Ortiz, and I really upgraded him from how good he looked here in the paddock. From a physical perspective, he is a real standout. And then the 10 horse also really made a nice impression. Ran against Dakota Gold as the 5, Mr. Chairman announcing his presence right behind me. The 10, Bucker 2, ran against Dakota Gold. They streaked home, had no chance there. I think he'll be well placed from the outside here. Just got to avoid getting caught real wide. And Mr. Chairman, well, was it Sinatra was the chairman of the board? This guy's singing over here as well.
Mr. Morley, terrific claim yesterday. He's had good success with that rider who is revived, as we've talked about. Javier Castellano riding as good as he ever has.
Really has. I mean, you just forget, he's like a fine wine. In a 4-time Eclipse Award winner, had a little injury, a little setback, but he's reminding everybody that, yeah, I can still ride.
I want to remind everyone, play along today. Get signed up for new members. That's the code to use, Spot25, and you'll get a $25 free play with Naira Bets at nairabets.com.
Javier's just been more aggressive lately.
He's riding terrific.
Yeah. He's riding terrific.
11 wins at the meet. He's in the top 5 in this stacked jockey colony. All right, so you guys both put together pick 5s, which begin here, which, barring one of the biggest upsets we've seen in the history of this racetrack, is a pick 4.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to single Jackie's Warrior, and that's what I did. I'm trying to keep it, underneath the $50 value so you guys can get a little value. And yes, I left out Tawny Port, so just all that race. I didn't want to go over the $50 limit. But 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. I think the 10's a sneaky horse in here. I'm singling Jackie's Warrior. I'm just not going to play that game. I would probably go all, which I did in the Jim Dandy, but I went 2, 4, 5, stay under the 50. 3, 5, and 12. I actually like the 5, Shoddy, a lot in race number 10. 3, 9 in the last. If I was going to add another horse, it'd be the 1 for Joe Sharp, who ran a really improved race first time in his barn.
Yeah, you and I agree a lot here, Paul. Using the 1, 5, and 10. Bucker 2 is the one that I'm going to try and get into this number as well. The number 10 horse in here, too big of a price right now at 14-1. I'm singling Jackie's Warrior in the Vanderbilt and early voting in the Jim Dandy. I think he's just going to go to the lead, or if Epicenter's really intent on it, just sit off of him. And then 2 big spreads, rather. 3, 5, 9, 10, 12, like you, Shorty, a little bit of a fuzzy. I thought the 9 Irwin was a little interesting. Also the number 10 Coliseo. And then in the last, my man Louis Lazzanaro likes to box all the even or odd numbers. I took all the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, $37.50. If you want to press a ticket, I think Jack the Cat, first time, the number 7, first time off the claim for Robbie Falcone's going to run a big race in the finale.
Love that horse in the last. Yeah, big shot.
And you get Joel aboard.
Yeah. Yep. Lots to like.
So this pick 5 pool, $750,000 and growing on one of the big Saturdays early on of this meet. As we get a look at that 9 there, ripe for mischief. Jim's Bond Barn, he had 2 winners yesterday. Getting going a little bit. And his main man aboard here, Luis Saez.
And Fuego. When him and Louis hook up, especially here at Saratoga, and every year you just forget. And whenever you want to go drive, there's like, you make a little right, and you can see his barn right down over by Horseshoe, and it says 007 on the side of it. It's the greatest barn here at Saratoga. It really is.
I host a breakfast program here at Saratoga, and the saddle towels in the morning, the trainers put their little stamp on them. He comes out with a 007. Everybody gets a kick out of it.
It's great, yeah.
Might hear the call to post in the background. Here we go. Take a look at Built to Last, Morley Castellano teaming up again.
Yeah, maybe cutting back to 5.5. Are we going to see this horse go from the rail? Been in some big fields, and I thought the horse to beat.
Major player here with the Rat Ortiz Jr. Hey, Mac, it's Jack.
I wonder if he puts pressure on Built to Last. He's got some speed. He didn't break great last time, but still ran a good second.
For jump trainer, Kerry Bryan, by the way. Here's her one and only, blinkers on.
Yeah, should show speed. It has been showing speed with Mike Luzzy in the irons.
Jose Lizcano, Feathers Road.
Got bothered a little bit late in the game last time, which got Haymack and Jack disqualified. She's had a lot of chances, though, guys.
Nice debut from Mr. Chairman, just missed for Christophe Clement.
Yeah, you can hear he's a little studdish behind Mig a little earlier. The gray here, he ran giant, and Joel broke on top, sort of took him back, and he was rolling late. I would think the same tactics today.
Central Pride. Wow, taking a lot of money with Manny Franco.
Well, John Terranova's barn is on fire here right now, 8-1. This horse did not run well last time out, but his turf race 2 back makes him a player.
Cut back in distance for Kimbo Dancer.
What a pedigree this horse has. War Dancer, a more than ready mare, and Sean Bridgman gets on board for James Ferrero.
This horse reportedly working well, Fuoco.
Yeah, and the barn's doing well, 3 for 5 so far at the meet. May have needed to race off the November layoff. Still a little chilly on the board at that 12-1.
Here's the 007 runner for the Bond Barn.
Yeah, it was 80-1 last time going into the top of the lane, and I was like, oh my gosh, this horse is going to win at 80-1, and just conceded a little bit, but it's getting better and better with each start.
And Bucker, too. Kendrick Carmouche, 15-1 for Michelle Nevin.
Gets Lasix back, gets the cut back, gets Kendrick back. I think this horse is very dangerous from the outside draw at a huge number at 15-1.
This is going to be a huge pool today. And again, many feel there's a free square coming up with Jackie's Warrior, so it becomes a pick 4. It is not easy the rest of the way. As we take a look at the 2, a Rat Ortiz Jr. meets leading rider. This would be number 20 at the meet for him.
And you make a good point about Kerry Bryan. She's a jump trainer. She won the last jump race we had here at Saratoga. She's a phenomenal trainer, and basically took over the Jonathan Shepard string, basically Big A, and now she trains some flat horses, and the 2's dangerous in here.
From 2 1/16 miles over the jump to 5.5 on the grass.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. I just wonder if this horse is a little bit more effective when showing speed, Paul. And in this instance, it's hard to imagine Haymack and Jack getting to the lead over the number 1 Built to Last. But yeah, you see
5-1. Feathers Road. Let's take a look at this 4-year-old in the beginning. 2 starts back.
It's the worst draw this horse can have. But see, this horse has done this the last 3 times. Wasn't that awful of a break, was able to save a little bit of ground and came rolling. But have we seen the same movie?
That's the problem, right? And the fact that he does not get away from the gate cleanly, he welcomes some trouble in the start. And then if you think 6 and 7 down at Belmont are unforgiving, wait till he gets a hold of this 5.5 here at Saratoga, where there is no room for error at all.
My one concern, and I'm glad that the 1 drew the rail. I know that the video cut out on there. My concern with the 1 is he was trying to get out a little bit at Belmont. And I'm worried that he might get out here with the tighter turns. But drawing the 1 hole might help him stay in. But you could tell he was getting out there in his last race. And I'm hoping he doesn't get out here with the sharper turns.
Sometimes this game boils down to mathematics. 5.5 may be the cure for Built to Last. He doesn't have time to get the wobbles late, the stoppies as they like to call them.
Yeah.
And you're right. But that drifting is a function of him just getting plain old tired.
Yeah.
And I think the 5.5 and the draw is huge for him. Huge for him. And the way Javier's been riding, I think he makes it. I picked Mr. Chairman because I do think a couple of horses will chase after Built to Last, but he makes an awful lot of sense. And at 4-1, he is a much bigger price than I thought he would be.
Let's go back to Mig.
Yeah, guys, and you know I'm usually more about inside posts in turf races, and Built to Last made a great impression in the paddock. I just wasn't crazy about his energy level going off. Now, he might have gotten more revved up in the post parade as he went, but as he went off, I just would have liked to have seen a little more animation in his steps, so I kind of gravitated away from him, and I went towards the outside. And again, that's usually not the way I go. The 8, Foco, looks fantastic. I like the way he warmed up. I think he's very well meant. The barn is white hot. Phil Serpy, 3 for 5. The 9, Ripe for Mischief, who didn't stand out in the paddock, really elevated himself on the track for the Jimmy Bond barn. Like what I'm seeing from him. And then, honestly, the horse that won the paddock pick award as far as appearance, won it on the racetrack is 2, and I'm going purely on appearance and picking the 10, buck or 2, and he's going to get a buck or 2 from me.
Wow, that would be a big start. There he is with a smiling Kendrick Carmouche in there. It's coming out of a stakes race last time out.
Yeah, and a horse that can be forward. You look at his gait. This is one horse that does not have gait problems. 1-1-1-1-1. So he's a good gait horse. So drawing the 10 hole sometimes can be like a detriment because they'll break to open space. But he's, I think, fine. And I know, Anthony, you talked about him. This 5.5 might be perfect for him.
I think he's dangerous.
Yeah,
I really do.
I used him.
Me too. I can't believe he's this price. You know, the barn, Michelle Nevin finally won a race yesterday, but everything she's been sending out for the last 3 or 4 months has really been running well, right? They have not been embarrassing themselves over at the Nevin barn. And this horse gets the outside draw, you know, Dakota Gold. There's no Dakota Gold. There's no marinara sauce in here. The race off the layoff you can forgive. The 5.5 should help. I think there's a lot to like about this horse. And I'll tell you one thing you really want to like. 15-1, Paul. That's way too big a number on this horse.
I'm with you. Do you think the 5 should be the favorite, though, Greg? I guess just because the way Joel's riding and Christophe.
I thought the 5 should be the favorite, working well as well. I mean, look, that's a nice debut, and obviously that first to that second start, you're going to make a big jump, you would think, especially from that barn.
But very rarely do you see horses that are up for sale. Now, the 5 was up for $40,000. You could have bought the 5 for $40,000 last time. Jump into maiden special weight and end up being your favorite. But I think they're seeing Joel Rosario and Christophe Clement, but the race came up pretty good with the rest of these horses.
Yeah, you know, I actually thought the race shape for him was pretty good. I thought there was enough with Built to Last in here, the number 1, the 2, Haymackets Jack. You have buck or 2 on the outside in post number 10. Ripe for Mischief gets a key rider switch to Luis Saez. We saw that rider switch yesterday result in a horse who never showed any speed going gate to wire, essentially, right? There are horses in here. You imagine Falco, too. Falco, who Richie likes. That barn's going good. More often than not, they show some more speed. I think there's enough speed in here for Mr. Chairman to come running late.
I saw Joel Rosario sitting patiently on Mr. Chairman. No better rider in this type of situation. 5.5 on the turf. Let's go back to Mig.
Yeah, guys, just let's get back to the 5, Mr. Chairman, quickly. And this is a thank you and a shout-out to Acacia Clement. It is a he is a half to Disco partner and tends to be very vocal around the barn as well. You saw Joel kind of get away from the pony, get his warm-up in, and then let him stand out. And you can tell him communicating with the pony. I'll come in behind you, follow you onto the turf course, and keep him moving. So he's a horse that's got a little bit of a mind of his own, but I like the way he's settled in, compared to how he was in the paddock, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from him now as he's heading onto the turf.
All right, Mig. About to load up here. Late pick 5 on our Jim Dandy card. Set to begin. $1.2 million in this pool. And a little bit interested with that pedigree that this horse debuted. First state bred maiden 40. So this horse is jumping up in class, and still is the favorite.
Yeah, still is the favorite. And you're not going to miss him. He's the gray white blur right on your screen. What a beautiful animal.
Love the way Joel looks aboard him, too, right? The silks matching the saddle towel.
Oh, yeah.
Almost, we talk about this in the mornings, too. The white distinction for a thoroughbred is very, very tough, but he is as bright as you're going to get.
Yeah.
So favoritism, Clement's Mr. Chairman, but several that deserve a look in here as we get set for our pick 5. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial, the call.
And they're in the gate. And they're off. Her one and only going for the lead along with Built to Last. And those two are right together. Fuoco is next in third. And then it is Ripe for Mischief who's running in fourth. Hey, Mac! It's Jack is next in fifth. Then the gray, Mr. Chairman, who runs in between horses, in sixth. Feathers Road is down at the rail. As the field heads for the far turn, a three-way battle up front. Built to Last, her one and only. And on the outside, it is Fuoco. Fuoco is now taking the lead. Built to Last in second, her one and only now back in third. Hey, Mac, it's Jack is next in fourth. Ripe for Mischief runs in fifth. Then comes Bucker 2, who's in sixth. Mr. Chairman with a lot to do down towards the rail in seventh. Then comes Feathers Road. On the far outside is a Kimbo Dancer. As they come through the stretch, it is Fuoco challenged here by Hey Mac, it's Jack. Hey Mac, it's Jack. And now Mr. Chairman is coming on. Mr. Chairman, Hey Mac, it's Jack. Hey Mac, it's Jack. And Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman got it by a head. Hey Mac, it's Jack was second. And Feathers Road finished third.
Mr. Chairman Joel Rosario in a strange stretch run from the second-time starter.
Yeah, I can't tell what happened. We were getting the route here from Anthony with the 5, and I'm wondering if the 2 on the front end with with Irad Ortiz may have struck the nose of the white horse. Watch the white horse react here in deep stretch. The 5 on the outside, your eventual winner.
You know,
did he just take a bad step, Big A? I
think he just. You know what? I think he may have, when Arad went to go right-handed, he may have caught him under the chin, or he could have just shied away from it. Yeah, could have anticipated it. The best is Joel. Joel is just so cool, though.
It's unreal.
Right, he just sits there so chilly. Right, the Iceman.
Pink cap, green silks, going to work here in those Patricia Generazio colors. Mig would have finished Rosario with 2 on the day.
Yeah, guys, I don't think that was it at all. I think there was a little bit of a different contour in the turf there, and he went to take a step over it, and he just lost his footing for a stride, and he bobbled. I don't think it had anything to do with the 2 at all. It was just a little bit of a different color, probably where they pull the gate out for the mile races or mile and 16th races, because he kind of took a step over, a little bit of discoloration, and lost his footing for a stride or 2, and Joel did a great job putting the bit back in his mouth, balancing him out, and getting him to finish again.
What? When you get that low angle view, Joel almost came out of the irons. Wow, this is crazy. As you can see right now, he's right there on the rail.
You can't miss him.
Can't miss him.
A gray pink cap saving ground, and here he starts to angle out.
When he takes the bad step, Joel almost gets sideways on him, Anthony.
I think Richie's right. You know, there may have been a dip there, and the way he never stops. See, these turf sprints, there's a reason Joel Rosario is arguably the best turf sprint rider in the country, maybe the world. He does not let these horses lose their momentum. And that it's important in any horse race. When you're going 5.5 furlongs up here in Saratoga, the tight turns, the big fields, it's so important that he just lets them move along. Like Richie said, he got the bit back in his mouth and let him get to the money.
So it's Mr. Chairman, the 2-1 favorite with the win. Let's go to Mig.
Yeah, I'm here with Christophe Comant, the conditioner. And Christophe, a little bit of anxious moment there. He took a funny step right before he collared the leader.
No, absolutely. He stumbled, but then he actually lost the lead and he came back. A great ride from Joel. Thank you, Joel. He's a little bit peculiar. He's got a very awkward way of holding his head, but he's got talent. And I'm delighted for Mrs. Generazio, because anything for Mrs. Generazio is always great. As you know, he's a half-brother to Disco Partner, which brings a lot of fun memories.
And like a horse like this, you started him for maiden 40, but had enough confidence to move into the maiden allowance company. Has he improved with that run?
No, without a doubt. He never worked that well before his first race. His last 2 or 3 works were pretty good. So we knew that he improved, and thank God that nobody claimed him, and then we'll go on again.
Now, Christophe, go get your picture taken. Another fine start to a Saratoga meeting. A terrific horseman, Christophe Clement.
Christophe Clement, Joel Rosario. It's a dream team here in upstate New York. Rosario, 15th winner of the meeting.
Well, you hear what he said. He was not working that well. He was half the Disco Partner. For a lot of people that don't know who Disco Partner is, he looks a lot like him. He was a white blur that I want to say He had the track record, or still has the track record at Belmont.
I believe
Big A.
so, yes.
So
for the
to put this horse in
world
for,
record.
Yeah, put this in for 40. A half brother to a world record holder.
105-3.
Obviously, they thought, okay, he's not achieving that much in the morning, but he's achieving it in the afternoon.
Yeah, this was a big effort today.
Yeah.
With everything he had to overcome, saving the ground, getting outside, the dip. Good job.
Rosario is just unreal.
A little interesting that they got away with one first time. You could have had this horse with that pedigree,
right,
for 40,000,
and not a gelding, Greg.
Yeah,
not a gelding.
Kept him, and now they win, stepping back up in class in a state-bred maiden special. Still to come, that showdown with 3 of the best 3-year-olds in our sport. And the Jim Dandy winner likely going to be your favorite in the Run Happy Travers. That's coming up on Big Fox, 4:30 Eastern start time. Still to come, and that program getting ready to tip off in just a few moments as we take a look at the field that's going to line up in this Grade 2. Gentlemen, where are you going to go?
Early voting for me. The ballots are I'm not even going to bother. I think you're just going to go right to the lead today under Jose Ortiz and get the job done, Paul.
I like Zandon. Nobody likes Zandon. It seems like he's the forgotten horse, but I think the mile and eighth is going to be perfect, and I think he just draws the best. I'm not saying he's the best in this group. I just think he draws the best.
Speed's been good today.
I know.
Maybe it'll set up perfectly for him, because we're going to keep our eyes so intently early on what early voting and Epicenter do against each other. Here's your Preakness winner, showing those new tactics last time out in the Preakness, sitting just off the pace.
Look how nice and chill he is. Just hanging out. Yep, that's me, the Preakness winner. You said it, Greg. That's right. Pigeon flying around in the stall. He don't care. Have a little hay. Grab a little hay. Just cool as a cucumber. Can't wait to see him strut his stuff today here at Saratoga.
Okay, a lot can change, even from getting out of that Triple Crown Series. Horses who were not huge factors can really turn around this second half of their 3-year-old campaign. Who knows? Maybe it's Tawny Port. No one's talking about him.
We've seen it happen here before.
We don't know who's going to take that big move forward, and it starts today.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's my favorite day in the meet. Love this race.
Don't forget about Jackie.
Jackie's Warrior indeed. Top sprinter in the country. He is coming up next. 1-9 on the board, by the way. Trying to collect a Grade 1 for the 3rd consecutive year and enter the history books.